pew, 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 pew. I know it gets weird. He's running out of guns. He's running out of bullets. What's happening, guys? Happy Gravy Day. Yeah, just do stabs. Stabs work too. It's another quarantine podcast for you guys on a Monday, and I told you guys we're doing this until I guess everything kind of goes back to normal. I don't know if it ever will. Maybe I'm doing 2 podcasts a week for the rest of my life.
What is normal?
Right? But joining me today is a good buddy of mine. He's been on the podcast once before, and it's long overdue for us to bring him back. You may hear him on Black Coffee Radio on AMKPRC, and you can also find him reporting at the Houston Museum of Natural Science now. It's Craig Hlavaty. What's happening, dog?
Hi there. Hey, folks. Craig Hlavaty here. I am good. I'm just sitting on a couch in my house with my little old dog behind me asleep. And as you can see, I owe some money to some mob guys. Mm-hmm. So I got this red dot on me. It's a LED light that I have in the house. So yes.
No, you should have kept it with the sniper thing. You should have kept it with the sniper
It was
thing.
just like,
was this guy really? Did Alex get somebody to hold him under gunpoint to do the podcast? Is he really that desperate for guests?
That's how you have to get me to do anything. It's just like, we're gonna kill you. Okay, I'll do it.
Do you have a gun or a laser pointer? That might also work. We just have to get him to be scared.
There's just a museum intern in the corner just pointing a laser pointer at me. So yeah.
You mentioned Prince a little bit. Yeah, no, this is fun. You mentioned Prince in the very beginning there. Prince is. I told you before we started recording this. If you don't follow Craig on Instagram and Twitter, it's at Craig Hlavaty, Hlavaty, correct?
Yeah. Yeah.
Follow him. You adopted. You adopted Prince. Prince is how old?
Prince will be 15 in September, and I adopted him when he was just about 12 or so. So yeah, let me get him. Let me wake him.
Does he want to make an appearance? I don't know.
Oh, come on, buddy.
What's up, buddy? That's Prince. But you post your walk picture. You post a picture of him on his walks every single morning. Yeah. And that is like the bright spot every single day when I'm like, there we go. There we go.
You're not the only one that says that. A lot of people say that he's brought them hope and joy in these troubling times. So that's what you do, right? Yeah, he's basically blind. So his right eye is cataract out, and then his left one is getting there. So it's always very funny I'll be in one room in the apartment and call for him, and then he'll walk or waddle or whatever he does to the other side. I'm like, no, I'm over here. Like, I can always play hide and seek from him. It's really hurt. You gonna go back to bed?
He's a terrible seeker.
Yeah, he's not. Yeah, but he's a the vet tells me that he is a Shih-Chi. I said Shih-Chi, not Shih-He. He's a Shih-Chi, so he's
just got to make sure.
Shih Tzu, Chihuahua mix somehow. And I found a whole Shih-Chi community on Instagram, and it's just pictures of old dogs like him, and they have a good time. So yeah, shout out to the Houston Humane Society. Adopt, don't shop. And senior dogs need all the love in the world too, because they have lives. They've lived strange lives. So yeah,
they're good boys and girls.
Yeah, they are. They're really good.
Yeah, like that's. I actually just got a dog DNA test for my dog. My brother gave that to my girlfriend for Christmas, and we had just been sitting on a shelf. So I was like, why don't we send this in? It's a fucking pandemic. Let's figure out what kind of dog we have. And Wheezy came back with. They just pretty much. Like, I don't know how real that stuff is, because I feel like it could very well just be like, let's say it's a lab and a Doberman. Let's throw it in. Throw it in. Like, you don't send a picture or anything, but like I have no idea that they're just filling in like whatever the other.
How do they take the DNA? Do you get their poop or
it's a
like
swab?
Their hair?
You have to swab it, put it in a little thing, and send it. Yeah. And I don't have it in front of me, but she's like part pit bull, and Wheezy looks like she looks like a rat terrier, like.
Aww.
What'd you say, Ems? She looks like Toto. Yeah.
Oh, that's
better
cool.
Explanation. But like she doesn't look like a pit bull at all. Yeah. And it came back and she's like got German Shepherd in her. She's got a lab in her. She's got all kinds of stuff. The person that we got her from for free on Craigslist, we didn't go for a breeder, so technically we're adopting, right?
Got it.
I'm just glad you said adopt and not rescue, because rescue to me is kind of a buzzword, because like if a dog's in a burning building and you jump in and save it, totally rescued it.
Yeah.
But if you wanted a dog, you go to the shelter and get it, then that's an adoption.
There was it was funny, and I'll always evangelize about adopting dogs and whatnot, but it's funny, the night I went to go get him, I didn't know I was going to get him. I just knew that everybody had tagged me on Instagram and Facebook saying, you need to get this dog. You need this dog. And so I went up there, and me and him,
specifically him, they tagged?
Yeah, yeah.
Okay.
And we immediately bonded. And at the end of the visit, I was like, all right, cool. I'm going to think about it, and I'll come back later. And they were like, no, you're taking him. And I'm like, oh, but because my 2 dogs had already left the house with my ex-wife, and I was like dogless. So I was like, oh, I don't have anything for him. I don't have any food. And they go, well, we're the Humane Society. We have tons of food. And then I was like, well, I don't have a leash. And they go, well, we got tons of leashes to choose from here, Craig. Pick a leash. And I go, oh, well, I don't have. They go, we have everything. Take him.
None of your excuses will work.
Yeah. It wasn't that it was I didn't want him. It was one of those things that was like, what am I? Like, this is a big thing. He's older, and like, because when I saw him in person, obviously I fell in love with him, and I was like, that's my dude. But then there was still like the part of me that was like, I should sleep on it and be an adult. And then they told me better, and within an hour, me and him were on this couch watching Mad Men, and he was asleep. So it seems to have worked out. So he's been on TV with me when I did TV. He's been I've written about him for the Chronicle. What else have you done? Oh, we were in Pet Talk magazine a few months ago. Nice. They did it was a Houston Media Hounds shoot. They picked people in the Houston area that are in the media, and then they all had us go certain places down and do a photo shoot. So it's like me that looks like this, and then Julia Morales from the Astros, beautiful Julia, and all these other like really fancy people. And then there's me and him sitting at Urban Outfitters. They told us to go to Urban Outfitters in City Center, and like I'm like holding him, and we're listening to records. So it's funny. Like I'm sure people that were looking at the magazine were like, "Oh, cool! Oh, cool! That guy looks like he shaves daily. Oh, wow! That's a homeless guy and his dog. That's sweet. Oh,
you're the bad boy in the shoot, though.
Yeah, I'm always the bad boy when it comes to this.
So edgy, Houston, Craig.
With the Houston media stuff, it's always funny because it's always like people wearing like sport coats and like people that don't sweat profusely and that don't have weird tattoos all over their body. And then there's I'm like, hi everybody, and they're like, oh, he's here to fill a quota. So it's like
that is funny, like because like in radio we don't really dress up, like unless like I guess if you're on the news side you do, but then like sometimes you go like meet up and like it's like, oh hey, you're gonna be doing this with somebody from TV, and it's like they're in like button downs and stuff. I'm like, oh hey, I have a Tupac shirt on. They're like, who's this idiot? Yeah, this guy with this dumb beard.
Whenever I've gone to things and there's, I'm like, is there a dress code? They're like, no, dress up like you are. And like, I'll wear like normal, like a Grateful Dead shirt and like sandals or Nikes or something. And then I always feel super I feel super out of it, like super like not supposed to be there. And then everybody comes up to me and goes, you have the right idea. You're comfortable. And I'm like, all right, cool. So
that's what I was going for. Yeah, totally. That was my plan.
Yeah, that's what I was going for. I just
nailed it.
That I'm scared of wearing things with buttons. So
I always feel out of place. And like any sort of like banquet I go to, I'm like, am I doing this right? Yeah. Like I don't know how to tie a tie. I was in my friend's wedding like last year, and I was like, I can just look it up on YouTube because I've done that before. Where, like you can figure it out if you look at it enough. But like I waited too long to like try and put the tie on. I was like, fuck, and I was all panicked. Like shit, they're calling for us. We gotta go. And his brother-in-law was like, dude, let me have your fucking tie here. And he like, did it. And I was like, thanks, Dad. I'm just like nothing about me is professional. I feel like I hope that I always can work in radio or do some sort of podcasting because I'm not good at being professional at all. I'm
not good at being I'm good at being professional, but not looking professional. If that makes any sense. Like, I could be a high-powered CEO if I wanted to, but I just don't like dress shoes.
Right?
You know?
Yeah.
I don't, yeah, like, and anytime I've ever been in a wedding like you were, like, I've always been like really uncomfortable and like, I'm like, do we have to wear fancy clothes? They're like, of course, it's a wedding. There's pictures. And I'm like, oh, because I always end up, you probably dealt with this too. Well, no, because you're like lean and like slender and like a normal sized person, but I'm like short, like a little, and so suits, unless they're like perfectly tailored to me, look horrible. Like it looks like I'm going to court. Like it doesn't look like I'm having a good time.
Like you borrowed somebody's suit.
Exactly. And then I sweat through them, and it's just like I'm just more. That's the sucky part. So
yeah, I got a tailored suit and I feel like a badass whenever I can like put it on, because like I don't ever wear suits. So like the like 2 times I ever get to do it in like a given year, I'm like, fuck yeah, okay. And like, since I don't know how to tie a tie, you just go bolo, because then it's like, this guy is like low key, like this guy is cool.
Yeah.
We like that guy. He's not like too high strung. And then people are like, oh, I like the bolo. Like this is the best. Like it doesn't matter about the fucking suit. The suit can look like shit, but you got a bolo tie. That's all people look at. Like during the COVID updates, they have one of like those the ASL guys doing the sign language, and one of the dudes doing it with Craig Abbott lately has had the bolo, and it was like, I don't fucking know what he's saying, but he looks like a fucking badass. He's got a bolo tie. I trust him.
Do you think that Abbott like picked those people? It's like, you got to put a bolo tie on because people from out of state are going to be watching this. They're going to expect you to be wearing a bolo tie.
I hope he didn't.
Like they play it up.
I hope it was just a pleasant surprise, because I hate like the overdoing of Texas. Like I hate.
Yeah, me too.
Like I mean, I know we have people that are trail riders that listen, but I don't get trail riding. I like, if that's
I think
thing,
it's cool. I love it.
I mean, it looks cool, but it's also like it holds up traffic. It's not like 1820. We have cars, so like you don't need to like go in on your horse. Like I don't understand it. Like that's not our mode of transportation. But then people see those pictures and they're like, yeah, and see, I told you in Houston they still take horses everywhere. We don't. That's not us. That's not us.
That was what was so cool about when the trail rider guys showed up to the George Floyd thing a few weeks ago, and the national media was really like, on edge. They didn't know what was going to happen. And then these guys show up on horseback, and all of us in Houston were like, yeah, that's normal. That's a thing. Okay, what next? And everybody else was just like, no, guys, you have people on horses at a protest rally. And we're like, yeah, that's a thing. You can see that at Wendy's, or you can see, that's a horrible thing. You can see that at McDonald's. You can see that anywhere. And everybody was just like, oh, okay. We're like, yeah, that's how we roll here. Sorry.
Right.
This is a Tuesday. It's extraordinary circumstances, but it's pretty normal that that's when it's always hard to, and you talk to more people from around the world than I do, I think, but trying to explain the Houston thing gets really it gets tiring, because you're constantly having to work against stereotypes that don't exist, that aren't real, I guess. So it's like, I'm like, yeah. But then one thing like that happens, and the horses, and I'm like, okay, that's okay. You got us. Yeah, we do that. That's a thing.
And like just the rodeo in general. If you just were to like, if you had never been to Texas and you came in and went to the rodeo, you'd be like, oh, this is how it is everywhere. This is how they all are. And it's like, no, just a lot of us have like a lot of people have cowboy hats and boots that they wear like the 2 times a year that they go to the rodeo, and like that's it. Like that's it. They go to a chili cook-off in College Station later on. That's the other time they wear it.
It's our cosplay. It's our month-long cosplay event that we have for our own culture, and the rest of the time we wear Magellan shirts and flip-flops to church.
Exactly.
So
get
used to it. So it's funny. Is this okay to have I'm not drinking. This is Topo.
Yeah, you can.
I didn't know if you had like a sponsor or something.
Southern Star Brewing Company.
Oh, nice.
I got a Southern Brunch I'm drinking right now. But yeah, like it doesn't, like, we don't get in trouble if you had another beer. I mean, I would give you shit for it because it's not a Southern Star, but I would be like,
well,
man, it's not a big deal.
I shouldn't be. I'm coming up on 10 months sober.
Oh, nice. Oh yeah, you're right. I saw you at the ALCS, right? And you had I saw you at the ALCS, and you were kind of like new to it, because I remember you had all the fucking like tokens to get drinks at Eighth Wonder, and you're like, here you go. And I was like, fuck, dude.
Yeah, because for a while there, I was like, hey, it's funny, anybody out there, when you stop drinking, you go through this period where you're like, okay, I still want to go and hang out with people, I still want to do things, and you end up being the worst person ever because you're just to compensate for not drinking, you're buying everybody else drinks. So it's like, oh, I'm going back to the bar to get a club soda with lime. Who wants tequila shots? And everybody's like, Craig, you don't drink. I'm like, but you do. But you do. Like,
we're all having fun.
Yeah. I'm like, but you guys want beers, right? They're like, no, dear God, we're this is horrible. It's painful. I'm like, well, if I can't drink, you're going to. And so I end up just forcing people. So that's why you got like a whole stack of tokens, because
you gave me like 10 tokens, I think. And like, I was like, tight. This is awesome.
Craig sober's fun. It's like, oh, I was DJing that day, right?
I think so, yeah.
I think I had just DJ'd that day. It was one of their Eighth Wonder parties from the before times, before everything was
when we could hang out
down.
with people.
We could hang out with people
in close proximity, and you could high five, and you didn't have to wear masks. Not that people follow that anyways, but.
Were you, before all this, were you a hugger, or were you a fist bumper, or were you a handshaker?
I am, like, with my buddies, I'm a hugger, man. Like,
good. Okay. Me too.
I think it's weird when people get like weird. Like, if I don't know you, like, I would like, I don't know, with you, like, just because like we don't hang out all the time, I'd probably you know, give you like, what is it, like the bro, like, hey, it's like a high five, and then you go in for like the half like kind of like that. But like with like buddies, it's like I just do that, or like I was up at Southern Star this weekend hanging out with some of the guys in the tap room, and I was just hugging them. Like, it's like, buddies. Good. I hang out with you guys. Hugging's good. We need to hug more in this world.
We're not making out or anything. We're not sharing saliva. So it's I
mean, as long as people are consenting to it, you should be able to. You hug your friends. You hug your friends.
And I've hugged a few people since this whole thing happened. Like, since we started to reopen, I think there's been this constant kind of like, well, we're all going to get sick. We might as well all get chicken pox. And nobody's told me, please don't hug me. Everybody's been like, oh, okay. Like it's been like, I guess because I was a hugger when I was little, even when it was inappropriate. Like, I would hug strangers. Like, I don't know, so hugging for me is just like a part of who I am. And to have that taken away was like, it was very sudden, and it was very sad. It was strange. It's probably inappropriate, but you know. So
I feel like I was like a later on in life kind of hugger. I mean, I'm 31, so it's not like I'm like super duper late. But like college was kind of when I was like, dude, I'll hug my friends. I don't give a shit. Like, you kind of get over that, like that. I think you get over that. Fun of you for it and shit.
Because there's that weird when you're still younger, when you're a younger guy, like there's still the, like it's almost like it's too maternal almost to hug. Like it's kind of like. It's a little.
Like when you didn't want to hug your mom and stuff. You're like, Mom, leave me alone. It's like, am I going to be the weirdo that does that? And then like, at a certain point, you're like, I don't give a fuck. Like
now, every time I see my parents, like I remember going through a period with my dad where I would like shake his hand. But like the older I've gotten, the more I'm like, well, every time I see my dad, I'm going to tell him I love him. I'm going to hug him like right when I see him, and then when I leave, like because you don't. I think that's just a function of getting older, where you realize like mortality is a thing, and so you want to start
100%.
Hugging people more. I like, and I even tell like people I love them. So like I'll get off the phone and I'll say, oh, I love you. And they go, oh, okay, all right, cool, awesome, Craig, thank you. And I'm just like, well, I just tell everybody that. So maybe that's but yeah, like COVID has made that be a harder thing to do. I can't be affectionate.
Like the elbow thing, the elbow dap, like I get it, but it's like it's all, and like every time people like do that, I'm like, okay, like it just throws me off every single time just because I'm not used to it. I haven't done the foot high five that people did. I feel like that was.
I thought that was stupid. I thought the foot high five thing was weird. There's the fist bump, the elbow, the foot. I've seen people do back to back. Well, they're just sort of like hit each other's backs, sort of like, or then there's the Bash Brothers thing. Do you remember? Do you the thing that Mark McGuire and Jose? So there's that.
The back thing, though, kind of like in football. Yeah, you go up like you're about the chest bump and you flip it around. Mm-hmm. I like that.
So it's just a backwards chest bump.
Yeah.
So you could do it that way too. We should bring that to the radio station.
Let's do it.
We should make the backwards fist, the backwards back bump. No, backwards.
Back bump.
Chest bump. Back bump. Ooh, that sounds kind of dirty too. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, it does, which makes it even better then, because people are like, well, what is that? I want a back bump. So during the whole quarantine, you working at the museum now. You worked at the Chronicle the last time we talked, and then how long have you been at the museum now?
I started at the Houston Museum of Natural Science the end of December of 2018, and I am the social media person / reporter / video host guy over there when we can actually do videos. And I'm still at the Chronicle as a freelancer. Like I still write whenever I feel like it, wherever I have something cool to say. And I also do that for Houstonia now too. So I'm busy all the time. Like during this whole COVID thing, I've just been super busy writing and doing as much as I can with that. So it's the only thing that's really changed is I just don't go to an office anymore. So
Yeah.
it's just
do you like working from home, or is it weird? Like I mean I've gone in like literally like every day I've gone in to work, like even when Rod and Tessa were not in studio with us, like when they were doing it from home, I was still going in every day to kind of run the board and everything. But like, so it's not been
just
like
to feel normal, right? Like to feel like
it
normal.
does. Yeah. So I've had that like consistency, like, okay, every morning I wake up the same time, I go to the same place I always was. Like, how is it when you're just at home instead of that? Like, cause I would be lazy if I worked from home. I always feel like trying to do the podcast stuff just by myself at home. I'm like, I need to like find the time to like usually I'll like stay at work until like I've finished everything at work, and I'll finish everything I need to do for a podcast, and then I'll go home, because I feel like when I get home, I like just zone out and do shit that like I'm not good at focusing on other stuff when I'm at home.
Well, when you asked me to come back on, I was like, oh, cool. I'm going to go. Oh, he does that Zoom. Okay. Like, cause I was part of me was like, ooh, I'm going to be able to go outside and like see different people. And like, I'm going to wear good shoes. And like, you're like, no, we just do it from home. So I'm like, oh, okay.
Well, I tested negative. I did test negative. So we technically could have. We did. Okay. I got a little swab test. It was pretty weird. I thought I had to do the nose thing. They made me like do a little swab, put it in this.
Wait, so they did the one in the nose?
No, it was one that was like a teleconference I had to do. So like somebody sent us these kits, and like I swabbed my mouth, I put it in this little like thing of liquid, and then I had to squirt this solution in it, and then you shook it up. You waited 10 minutes to see if it turned a color. And then I had to I scheduled a conference with this lady, showed it to her, and she was like, all right, show me the picture of this. And she like saw it and was like, all right, we'll call you in 30 minutes. And like, yeah, you're clean. Which is like, I don't know. I mean, I've heard there's a lot of false negatives and positives and stuff. So like, but wild. Like, I was telling everybody when we recorded the regular podcast yesterday, I was like, it's like, if you ever get like an STD test, you're like, I think I'm good. But that like whole time you're waiting, you're like, fuck, like things could be really different. Like, I really hope this doesn't come back positive. And then I have to like go tell everybody I've talked to. I just went up to a brewery and then I'm that guy. So I was like, I was sweating it out.
Did you think that you had it? Like, I know it's been this common like theme that everybody's like, oh yeah, I had it back in January. I'm pretty sure. Did you have anything in the past that you've been like, oh, maybe that was the lung? Yeah.
Yeah, like I don't want to be like conspiracy theory guy at all. But everybody on the morning show pretty much. I know Tessa and myself, and I think Chili, and then somebody else down the hall. Like there was like a kind of like a cold going around in the office, and it was like I don't know, like it was my like I had a cough and my throat was sore, but it was like it lasted longer than you like. Usually I'll get over a cold in like 3 days or whatever. Yeah. It felt like it lasted a couple of weeks. Like I wasn't completely over it. It wasn't bad, but like it was just like usually I'm over this stuff. And then like that was like I think it was probably about like 2 weeks before we went to the cook-off, which is when like that was kind of like ground zero here in Houston. We were actually there that night, that Friday night where that guy was there. We were the opposite side of the whole thing, which doesn't mean anything, but like I don't know. Like if I had it, it was a very mild case of it, I guess. Yeah. But like, I'm not ruling out that I didn't have it. I don't know if I had it, and that like, if I had to pick a time where I had it this year, that was the one strange time where I was like, I kind of had a cold around then.
Back in February, March.
Yeah, that's when people were talking about like that they had it. Like I had my brother's friend got the antibodies, and he was like, I had the flu, it wouldn't go away, and like my girlfriend and I were both sick, and he just got tested for the antibodies, and they're like, yeah, you have them.
Have you done anything, and this is like not a lot of people talk about this during this whole thing, have you done anything health-wise differently while we've been locked down? Like did you start taking any different vitamins, or did you do anything? Because immunity is a big deal.
Right.
Like immunity is like one of those things that I hate to sound like Joe Rogan like now, but like
I was
it's
going
one
to
of
say I
those
take
things,
Alpha Brain.
but like, yeah, it's one of those things where I've started to take vitamin C every day just to sort of like, okay, like I take it with everything else. And I get plenty of sunlight with old man here. So I've done the sunlight thing, which is supposed to be good for you. I've sweat most every day that I can, and then just try to stay active. But a lot of people, I think, haven't been doing anything like that. They've been, if anything, like doubling down on all the horrible things they were doing to their bodies anyway. Because we're at home now, we can do this.
Yeah,
So
like I've definitely
I've
drank
always
more.
really,
Yeah.
see, I feel bad for people that there's like I don't mind the drinking thing is, but it scares me. Like I haven't vaped tobacco or I haven't smoked a cigarette since like the weekend before we locked down. Like I
Okay.
haven't ingested any tobacco since then, and I feel really good. Like I'll still see somebody smoking a cigarette on the street, and I'll kind of like go, "Oh, that smells good," but like I haven't had the
Urge.
desire for it. So that's been good, I guess. But I didn't know if you've done anything above and
Well,
beyond.
Rod always he always gets the packs of emergency in the mornings,
Mm-hmm.
and again in our water bottles, like we all take water bottles, fill those up at the
Yeah.
office. But like he always puts in his first water bottle of the day, he'll put like 2 emergencies, and I was like, that's a really good idea. Like a while back, like a couple years ago, and I was like, I want to start doing that just because like why not? Like we're always touching the same shit that everybody else is touching in that
Yeah.
building. And so like I've just done that. So like that's really the only thing that I've kept up with it, but just taking like the vitamin C a little bit every day, like. I mean, it's like in theory, it should help you get over stuff a little bit better.
Well, like this at the museum before we closed down, but we've been reopened now for a few weeks. Before that, we have like during the week we'll have thousands of field trippers were showing up from schools, and the science museum, like any other museum in the museum district, is just constantly busy. Like there's people from all over the world coming. Like it's a world class. I mean, I'm not gonna pat myself on the back, but I am. We're a world class museum, world class science museum. It's facts, and we have people coming in from all corners of the globe, and then we also have I can most mornings I could walk in and be just inundated with 1,000 kids from a school, running around being excited about dinosaurs. So I was already on that level of I need to wash my hands like as constantly as I can, even, bathroom obviously, but just like, hey, it's 2:00, I should wash my hands. So I was already on that tip, I guess, because it was like working at a mall. Like it's like working at there's a constant humanity crush there. And I was doing that already. And but yeah, the museum, we reopened a few weeks ago. Everything's doing fine over there. It's just a matter of getting people to come back because a lot of people are still scared to go out in public. Obviously, with now this resurgence of this thing again, it's been an uphill battle. But
and that's my fault because I'm a millennial. Apparently, guess what Craig Hlavaty said the other day.
But you know what? He doesn't mean millennial.
No, I get
millennials,
it.
Millennials, we're the ones, because I'm 37, so I guess I'm technically a millennial. But we're the ones that are like inside doing things. Like most of us have kids or we have working from home. What I think it is, I hate Zoomers. Like I really think it's Zoomers that are doing, and I don't mean Zoom like this, but like that age group is the Zoomers are the ones who are the real, the bad ones. The Zoomers are the ones that I blame everything on. I'm old now, so I blame everything on Zoomers. So it's always the generation. But yeah, I'm always going to blame Zoomers now for everything. Zoomers are the ones that were out going, like the weekend that everything opened up, they were doing bottle service at pool parties and bars and stuff like that. Millennials, we were at home.
Right. See, last weekend was the first weekend I had gone to. Like, I went to the Southern Star. I went to the tap room up there, but like that was the first time I have gone. I hadn't eaten out anywhere. I had just done DoorDash. I went to go see my parents for like Mother's Day, my mom's birthday, but like even then, like we were far away from them. Like we did my mom's birthday and like did socially distant mom's birthday, like ate outside. And then finally, like my dad just like hugged me when we were leaving. He was like, I don't, like, if I get it from you, I don't care. I was like, yeah, but I do. Like, God damn it. Now, now look at this. And so like we've seen them now, and it's like, all right, well, I've already touched you, so like, okay, and like that's pretty much all we had done. Like we had just been watching a lot of shit on inside. I could try and be part of the solution, not the problem.
Yeah, no, that's the thing.
And I mean, I don't like if that's not your thing, like whatever. Like like you said, I think we're probably all gonna either get it or be somehow affected by it anyways. Yeah. And it's like I have gone in and out of that the last like month of like, fuck it, like man, if everybody else is going out, I want to go out and do stuff. Like it's like that was kind of part of like I was just like, fuck it. Like somebody invited me to go play soccer. I played like a little pickup soccer last Saturday, and then we went out to the brewery for some beers after. And I was like, all right, like I'll do that. That's fine. Like let's just fucking try it. Let's just try it. And it was so much fun. Just like it felt normal. It felt like things were a little bit normal again. And then you just like immediately like, okay, fuck, no, it's not. But
I've realized that I'm just scared of, not scared, I guess, but like this has been for somebody that's sort of like a sort of a homebody. This was a very big test of that. So like now that I've been stuck at home, I've realized, oh, cool, I don't like crowds after all. Like I was talking about this the other day with Justin King from Black Coffee Radio that I do. And we were saying that like I don't know if I want to go back to concerts. Like even like I was already kind of on concerts and live.
Like at all? Like in general, just no matter who it is?
Well, I mean, there's very select things that would
the
be
Grateful
like
Dead are like, we're back. You're going to that, right?
Yes, I'll go see Dead and Company, and I'll go see anything like that. But like, just like, oh, I'm gonna go to a concert on a Thursday night. Like I'm kind of like, I want to be home. I think this all hit me at the exact point where I was starting to become an old man, an old crotchety old man, to where it was like my brain was like, oh, well, this is cool. We got this. We can hang out inside. I just don't. The delivery of the food stresses me out because I like interacting with people. Like I don't like the Domino's talks about, oh, it's contactless delivery, it's this, and I'm like, but I kind of want to talk to the guy. I want to give him money in his hand, and I want to say hello and how are you. And for somebody that likes talking to people, or likes being like friendly in person, this sucks because you can't do the same thing on Twitter or on your phone. I mean, we're doing this, but like, I would love to be able to be in person with you.
Right. It would be way better if we could hang out and shit like that. Like,
smell your beard. You know?
Right. That's what we do that every time we hang out. It's just a thing. It's not weird. It's not weird. We're friends.
But yeah, no, it's been a struggle, but it's, I think we're going to make it. But the museum's doing good. It's just a matter of getting back to somewhat normal. I don't know that. I don't think that's going to ever, I think whatever happened before March isn't going to come back. Like that vibe, I think people now are excited about being inside for some reason. So
I think a lot of like stuff is gonna change after this. Like I think you're gonna see a lot of like companies be like, and I feel like I've said this before on the podcast, but it's just like I think you're gonna have a lot of people be like, dude, you don't need to fly to Japan to do that meeting, man. Like we're paying a fuckload of money having you fly across the goddamn globe. Like why don't we just do a Zoom? Just Zoom with them. We'll all Zoom. I get it. Like you can't shake their hand. It's not as formal, but like we'll get it done and we can do 10 other meetings too. Like just
when they say that
somebody's going to save money.
The post office is probably loving it because there's more people using their services.
That is true.
And I've heard post office people, I've heard mailmen say that it's like Christmas every day. Like it's like that many things are getting sent between like people like me buying. I think you're the same way, like buying crap on eBay and just
Amazon,
like
dude.
And doing stuff.
But Amazon, I feel like I've seen people bitching about the Amazon job. Like, man, motherfuckers ordering all this shit. It's like, well, like, dude, you're working at least, right? Like,
they're having Amazon is always funny because you never know how they're going to deliver something, because I've seen a few days where I've ordered something small and they'll just through the gate here at the apartment, they'll just fling it through the I'm like, oh, okay. Like, but the mailman at least will leave it on my door, but the mailman will put it in a box somewhere and he won't just go like that, like he's throwing a paper in the 1950s on my front.
And now Amazon has like where they're supposed to take the picture of where they let the delivery, and they
take a picture of their the horrible way they do it. Like there was like,
but at least they do it. That saved me. Like in my apartment complex, you get to like buzz to get in sometimes, and so like I put in my like account, like you have the 3-digit code to dial to get in, and then I'll buzz you in. But like And like now if I like, which is probably super unsafe. Like if I just see like my phone rings and it's like, oh, front buzzer, I just like 9, let you in. Like I don't fucking like, I don't know. If you're coming to kill me, I really hope you're not coming to kill me. But like a lot of times I think people just like, if somebody doesn't have it, they just randomly hit it like 3 digits and it's like, okay. And so I was like, I don't want to be the guy that holds that up. And before I've been like, hello, it's Amazon. Well, like, yeah, basically, like, it would be my own fault. But, like, there's been a couple times where, like, the guy the person either didn't do it like that or just got lazy. And, like, one time it was, like, outside of, like, the front door to our apartments.
Yeah.
Like, just not, like, the apartment building, not my building, like, the complex. And it was just like, oh, well, at least there was a picture. So I was like, okay, I think that's all the way around. So let me just walk out there. And I was like, at least I found it.
You should have an Amazon driver on the show. You should find an Amazon driver that'd be willing to talk about this without obviously getting fired or whatever.
We could black them out and do like the witness protection.
Yes, I enjoy working at Amazon. It's a great business.
Yeah.
I like putting in the. Sometimes I'll put the boxes in by the pool.
I even have like a table outside my apartment, like 4 packages, and they still put stuff on the side of the table. They don't put it actually on the table where it goes.
How hard is it to?
I don't know if it's like, maybe it's like they're just little game. It's like a fun, like, he's like, I don't know if that's like, because I'll order a bunch of comic books and they'll be on the ground and not on the table that I've set outside there for it. So I don't know if it's like, is it a protocol thing? Like we can't leave things on tables? Like, does your boss say, no, whatever they do, don't leave it on the table because it's, I don't know. That's strange to me. So
don't follow. Actually, on that, like just don't follow any of the directions. If they write down directions, don't do it. It's a trap. It's a trap.
Do the exact opposite of what they say.
That is, and those are your direct orders. Like
don't on fire.
Well, my building, like our front office, it'll be like packages. Do not deliver packages to the front office. Like a long time ago, they changed that because they just were like, we don't want to hold on to your packages or whatever.
Yeah.
But like until like the end of last year, like every Saturday or Sunday, there would just be a fuckload of Amazon there was signs. It was like, do not leave packages at the front office. Do not leave packages at front office. And then like, they put 2 signs up that said it. So on both of the glass doors, you could see it. Like, I don't know how you wouldn't see it. And there would always be just like stacks of Amazon boxes. And one day I was walking the dog and I was coming back in. So I was walking up past the front office and I saw the Amazon guy just leaving stuff. And I was like, hey man, can I ask you a question? And he was like, yeah, what's up? And I was like, I'm not trying to be a dick. I promise I'm not trying to be a dick. I was just like, why do you leave the boxes there when it says not to? And he was like, oh, is there a sign? And I was like, yeah, there's one on the door. And he was like, oh shit, I didn't even notice that. My bad. And I was like, sometimes it's just like, you're so focused on what you're doing.
I guess so. Because they always seem like they're on the phone too while they're doing their job, which I understand. Like, so I guess you're distracted too, or you're just like, oh, cool, number 377. Okay, pull it right there. So I guess you don't really have time to reset your entire like life before you're dropping somebody's mouthwash on their front door. I don't know if people order mouthwash on Amazon, but like you don't have.
Well, I order mouthwash on Amazon for sure.
You don't have like this like, oh, I got to set it up for this, and this person wants me to put it on this table. You're just more of like, get it out of my life. I have to be done by 4:00 so I can go pick up my kid from here. I don't care. Yeah, fine, great. Here, throw it right there. I would like to hear from Amazon themselves, like if there is a protocol for that. Like, is it? Do you need?
There's got to be some sort of. Right?
Is it a fun game? Is it kind of like, like, let's see what we can break? I don't know. I would like to know that. So.
Have you ever had anything like broken when it showed up?
I've had packages like ripped open, like you could tell like they were like trying to see what it was.
But do you think that was the Amazon, or do you think it was like somebody trying to like?
I don't know. It could have been just. I mean, I don't want to. It's not like Amazon's listening. Well, I'm sure they're listening to this because it's Amazon.
Alexa, and she's totally listening.
I've had like envelopes like just ripped open, like it looked like someone was like, oh, cool, this is probably something electric. Oh no, it's something else. It's a dog toy. Never mind. And then they throw it away. So maybe that's what it is too. So
I always think it's weird when you see those like porch pirates is what they're called.
I don't like that phrase. Sounds bad. Like it
does. It sounds way worse. Then but I think that's what they call them, the people that steal Amazon boxes off of people's like doors and stuff. But like, I think it's weird that like they just like grab the box and go, because like you could just go home with like what if you got home with like 200 tampons in like one of the boxes? Like, what do you do with that?
Yeah, like I wonder.
It can't all be wins.
No, it can't be. Sometimes you get somebody's insulin medication, or
right, and
sometimes
then like, now what? You return it because you feel bad? Like, hey, dude, I totally my bad.
could you? I mean, like, oh, it's a case of enemas.
Right.
Well, you can't really sell that on eBay on Craigslist, right? You can't just be like, sorry guys, I ordered 30 enemas and I don't need them anymore. So
only needed
Craigslist,
one.
Put it up on next door. I don't know how do you do that? So yeah.
I don't know. It's cool. It's like fucking awesome that like I can just be like running out of anything though. And like I was running out of I used the last like disposable coffee cup that I take to work every morning yesterday, and I was like, fuck it, I'll just order another one. But like I love that it'll be like delivery tomorrow. Okay, cool. Like I have one little like just reusable cup that I can use. Fucking perfect. I'll use that today. I don't have to wash it tomorrow. We're great. And like it delivered, it was there this morning or this afternoon when I got home and shit like that. It's like, it's amazing that like we can just get shit at our doorstep.
But I still love going places though. Like I
do too, but Amazon, like for just like little things where like if I need mouthwash and I know I'm at the end of the mouthwash thing, instead of having to like remember to get it at the grocery store the next time, boom, ordered, done. See you in a little bit.
Then they you have Amazon Prime though?
Oh yeah.
Okay, see, because
I believe every American should have Amazon Prime.
Because I would order more things, but then it's like I could have ordered this Gorilla Glue. I could have ordered. Don't ask me why I have glue just sitting here.
Well, no, I'm going to. So why?
It's a long story. Let me go get it. Hold on one second.
Okay, good. Because we need to.
Prince, hold it down.
Prince, your thoughts. Prince, any weird Amazon purchases for you this year? Oh, really?
All right.
That is an interesting toy purchase, Prince.
This. Okay. Can you see this?
Is that you?
Yeah. So back when I did Newsfix,
whoa,
there was I did a story about this company that was at Memorial City Mall. Here, I'll put him right here. There we go. I did this. This is story.
If you're not watching the video version, go watch the video version of the podcast right now.
So there was this company that was at Memorial City Mall in a kiosk, and they had a booth there, and they would do a 360 printing of you.
Nuts.
And for the story for Newsfix, I went and got myself made, I guess. And like it's really decent. Like it even gets your tattoos and everything in it. So it had been sitting.
It's got your keys. Is that your keys on the back of it?
Yeah, it has my card in the ear. Like,
yeah, that's right funny. You get the hook clip. Yeah.
There's my butt and everything.
Butt looks great. Your butt looks great.
Thank you. It's a good 3D printed butt. So they did this, and then and I think this is like almost 4 or 5 years old. So I think the technology now is a lot better. But this had always been sitting on my counter, just the statue itself, kind of creepy looking. And I'm moving soon, so I wanted to give it a more dignified look. And so I went to Michael's yesterday, and I bought one of these weird jars like you would put like for crafts. Is that
from like Beauty and the Beast?
Sort of.
Like, didn't she have like that like flower thing in there?
Tulip or something? Yeah.
Yeah.
So I have this, and I glued the little piece down onto the wood, and then I covered it in glass, and that's why I have Gorilla Glue here on my desk, because I was gluing myself into a glass. It was a glass case of emotion.
Oh, that's from perfect.
Anchorman.
Yeah.
So,
that's awesome, though.
Yeah. I don't know if the company still exists. It was a bunch of guys from A&M that were doing it like as a summer project. I don't even know if they even still do it. So, and I'm sure that you can get
was it them?
paid. I don't remember.
I probably wasn't the Dude Perfect guys.
They do that?
I definitely know the dude. Those are the guys that do the weird trick shots and stuff.
I know that like there's like I have one of my friends has a 5-year-old that loves Dude Perfect.
Yeah, no, like they're like huge. They're huge with like the younger crowd. Like I know they're all from A&M. That was the only reason I threw that.
The younger crowd. Let me go put myself back on the counter.
That was pretty cool though. So yeah, if that's one of those times you really, I feel like the Zooms have really made me like focus more so on the video than I ever have before. Where usually when people are in like here near me, I'm like, oh, we'll just like discuss it out loud. But now like we're like, oh, look at this, and it's like, well, you gotta watch the video version.
So there's
like,
so I'm staring at myself on the counter over there. That is really I walked into Michael's with it, and I'm walking around Michael's holding myself, and I was looking for like some sort of like a shadow box type deal, and then one of the girls that worked at Michael's was like, "Oh, I have just the idea for you," and then she came up with that. So
that's tight.
yeah, it's I don't know how much it actually would have cost, but because they did it for free, since it was like a free ad, a free commercial on Newsfix. So I don't know. I think maybe $200 something. Maybe, I don't know if they even still do them anymore. So
do you ever like feel like it's judging you? Like,
well, it's
you
like
ever
it's a
do anything?
different.
Or you're like, stop fucking judging me, little Craig.
It's a different version of me. So it's like it's a younger version of myself. So I can look at him and kind of go like, you don't know what's like, because I know the headspace I was in when I made that thing. So now it's fun to look at it and kind of go, you don't even know what's going to happen to you, man. Your life is
could I tell you some things?
If I could, yeah. So it's one of those things where I'm just like, man, your life is going to suck for a while. Have fun now, walking around with your carabiner and your knife in your pocket and so
and no mask.
Yeah, no mask. Yeah, so he's locked in there now for good, and it's sealed with Gorilla Glue. Gorilla Glue,
you
the only
poke any
glue.
holes so he can breathe?
No, I really didn't. And it's funny, when I finally did, I had that weird thought too that, oh, he's not going to be able to. I was like, oh, well, he's not real. It's just
because the Toy Story.
It's a toy. Oh, ooh, I don't even think about that. Like he wakes up at night and he's like, I'm stuck.
He's like, I can't breathe.
Yeah.
He just has to die every single night again. It's like an endless Groundhog Day. That's a Black Mirror episode right there. We just verbal trademark. We just wrote that episode.
Like a guy's 3D printed model of himself comes to life at night. But it traps
you as you were at that time. Yeah. So you have that. But then like, yeah, you're just a mini version of yourself. And so forever from now on, he's like, what the fuck?
Now I want to go make another one of myself now and then have them
give him a friend
sit together. Yeah.
Dude, do that.
That is weird. You can tell.
I want to find out if I can do that, and I want to make one of me now.
Look up 3D model printing. You could probably find them around town somewhere. You can probably do it for the show. People will probably love that. Like get the morning show. Get everybody made into dolls.
That'd be tight.
Did you guys have bobbleheads at one point?
Somebody made us like chalk cutouts of us, which was kind of it was pretty tight.
You need to get bobbleheads for the whole morning show.
Because I had like my 45s hat on, and I was like, they even got the 45s on it. That's awesome.
I'm trying not to look at him. So yeah.
He's judging you now. Let's talk about the museum a little bit, man. Like, since that's open back up, like I really want to do, after all this is over, can we have like everybody, we call the people that like are really into the show, we call them the Gravy Gang. Can we have like a Gravy Gang field trip where we just go and show us all the cool shit in the museum? Yeah.
I could even probably set you guys up with a, we call them discovery guides, and we have somebody walk around the museum and show you guys things and give you guys cool little inside knowledge. I could definitely set that up too. As long as you guys promise to buy things. As long as you guys promise to all buy things from the museum store, we can make it happen.
We can do that. Will they have little Craigs available? Maybe they need to stock up on those.
Maybe they do. Yeah, it's funny. Like, since I started there now, I'm so associated with the museum, and I'm not there all the time. I'm maybe there like once a week. So now, like when I go, everybody's like, "Hey, you're here all the time," and I'm like, "I haven't been here in a month." So it's a fun place to work. I can't speak to other museums in town, but it's a fun place. We have a lot of fun there, and it's definitely warped my brain to this in the extent of now I was always into science before, but now I'm super into that stuff because I'm always looking for fun stuff for our Twitter account. And me and you were texting about it yesterday, I think.
Yeah, if you're not following, what is it? HMNS
HMNS, yeah, on Twitter, yeah.
On Twitter, go follow because I was texting with you. I was like, I don't give a fuck about museums in general, right? Like, I just I don't know. Like, I appreciate museums for what they are, but like normally I'm not like, I wonder what the museum has to say on this. But like, I follow the museum because you started working there, and like, you do entertaining shit. Like, you make me want to go to the museum every time you post stuff. You're like, hey, check out this huge model of the moon. Like, let's come check this out. I'm like, I want to learn more about that. Or like, when
I work at a toy store. I work in a real life toy store.
I was gonna say adult toy store, but that's not that. It's like history toy store more so.
Science
That's better.
Toy store.
Science history.
We have
toys.
dinosaurs, mummies, butterflies, precious gems and minerals. Right now we have a Stonehenge exhibit with real life skulls and stuff from Stonehenge. We have a lot of stuff. You just have to go. You have to go and experience the museum. You have to wear a mask though right now. If you're under 10, you don't have to wear a mask, but if you go, you have to mask up, and we have limited capacity. And so I always try to tell people too that they're like, oh, why should we go to the museum? I'm like, well, we have AC.
That's a good one in Houston right now.
Like, I always tell people that's like our selling point is that we have air conditioning. Especially when it's so hot. I'm like, you don't want to go to the zoo. The zoo's outside.
And do you still have a McDonald's?
No.
What?
No. We got rid of McDonald's before I got there, and now we have sort of like a cool coffee bar sandwich thing. We got rid of McDonald's about...
Well, McDonald's, honestly, kind of a crock of shit because everything was overpriced because it wasn't like McDonald's.
Well, it's like a McDonald's. If you go to McDonald's like in an airport, it's more expensive, right?
No, it was just weird. But I remember going on field trips. We're like, yeah, let's go get some McDonald's. Oh, wait, it's $15?
Yeah, $15 that was always, we still have people asking, just like you, people asking if we still have McDonald's, and we say we don't. And then they either go, good, you should have had it anyway, or they say, oh, we miss it. So we can't win. Like,
you just go to another McDonald's, man.
Yeah,
there's a million of them.
McDonald's has many locations across the world.
Believe it or not.
And you can go into any of them, or you can get contactless delivery. And So we don't have that anymore. There's been a lot of things.
You can even order on your phone ahead of time if you want to pick it up in the drive-thru later.
Yeah, I've seen people do that. It's really weird. Like, I just don't like I don't like apps like that. It's crazy to me. I'm weird.
I think that's odd. I just never like. It's like if I go to the drive-thru, and like I don't want to order DoorDash McDonald's. I don't want to order DoorDash drive-thru places, or else I could just go do the drive-thru. And I get that people do it because sometimes you feel too lazy. I will order DoorDash from Torchy's Tacos that's down the street. And you're like, okay, that's the same thing, but it didn't have a drive-thru that I could go into, and that's how I justify it in my dumb brain. But it's like,
Torchy's does
Burger King delivered. Like, why? You could have gotten anything delivered. Why'd you go Burger King?
That's a super stoner thing too. But part of the fun is going to get Burger King and then going home and getting stoned, right?
I think so. Yeah.
Deal? Like, you kind of.
It would be Taco Bell. It would be Taco Bell for me. But yeah.
Like, you go to Taco Bell, get $20 worth of stuff, and then go home, do what you need to do, and then you're just like, I have it. So that. But yeah, you're right. Like, Jack in the Box, Burger King, Whataburger, McDonald's, I would rather go and get them rather than have that delivered.
Right.
It seems like I'm breaking some sort of like sacred oath or trust by having that delivered. Like, I'd rather go and seek that out myself.
That food doesn't come to me. No.
No. I have to go to that. Yeah.
I don't care what apps you guys have finagled out, but I'm not doing that.
Torchy's should have a drive-thru. That seems
Torchy's is the shit. Torchy's is the shit for sure. But also, just back to Burger King quickly. Like, I mean, I don't know why. I don't know how we got on Burger King, but we're on Burger King now.
I brought it up first.
Unless you live like right next to a Burger King, like, why would you ever go Burger King as like your fast food choice?
We had a Burger King over here in Montrose, and I loved it. It was like my good like hungover spot. Like, it was like,
there's so many better places.
I have $5 left. Okay, I'll go in there, $5, and then like. But no, here's the thing. I like the way Burger King tastes.
I mean, I would just I think like Whataburger I think is better. Although I'd go In-N-Out over Whataburger just while I'm trying to start controversy here.
You know what I like and not a lot of people do I like Sonic.
Sonic is good.
And it's hard to find a good Sonic that is not like a complete shit show, like customer service wise.
My brother worked at one, and I just can't. I've never looked at it the same.
Is it because he told you like all the backdoor shenanigans that happen?
Let's just say the one that he worked at didn't necessarily have the best employees there.
Yeah, that's the thing.
And so it's like I just imagine that, and it's like I don't think that's happening every time I order, but like I imagine that. So it's like I have a hard time doing that unless it's like a slush.
You have to go to Sonic in the middle of nowhere on a road trip somewhere here in Texas, because it's better that way when it's just like hometown, small town kids with like 5,000 people in there, because the Sonic is held to a different standard than it is like you're like in town. So you have to go to like a Sonic that's like the one of the 4 restaurants in town. And I think that's when you'll be treated better and you won't have any like weird, but I like the way Sonic tastes. I like, obviously there's the ice.
Ice is the best.
If the Sonic Ice was everywhere, I would probably be an alcoholic, because that Sonic Ice just makes everything taste better. So I would probably drink more I would drink again if I had the Sonic Ice. But I like Sonic. Whataburger is really wearing thin on me. Like there's something about Whataburger's social media presence right now, and something about the Whataburger cult that's turning me off. Because I feel like
when they went to Chicago, everybody got mad at them for making money.
I think it was probably around when everybody started jumping on that Whataburger is the shit train.
And hating on like the In-N-Out v Whataburger.
Yeah, which made me dislike Whataburger because people were so serious and dead set about it. And then I started to take a different look, and I've always been a contrarian.
That's how I was with Popeyes. Really? I didn't eat Popeyes a ton, but then when they're like, fuck Chick-fil-A and their stupid fucking sandwiches, like, whoa.
Yeah.
Whoa, you don't come at the king like that.
To me, Chick-fil-A and Popeyes have always existed in their own little realm.
It's not the same thing. It's chicken, but it's not the same.
It's like DC versus Marvel. You know, like it's like it's like you don't put them together. Like I'm not trying to compare those two, so you just keep them separate. Like Superman can hang out over here and so can Iron Man. It's fine. Like they don't need to coexist and mix. But then when you have Popeye starting shit with Chick-fil-A, and Chick-fil-A never fought back, right?
No, because they don't have to. Because Chick-fil-A they're like, we'll just fucking we won't have lines out the goddamn door.
Yeah.
Or we will, and somehow we'll get to everybody in 15 seconds.
Well, nobody ever got stabbed over a chicken sandwich at Chick-fil-A.
But that's what Chick-fil-A, if everything could run as efficient, like whoever's in charge of Chick-fil-A should just put them in charge of everything, because it's the most efficient thing ever. You're like I will, like when my parents live out in Katy, and like they have the Chick-fil-A by their house is every day at lunchtime. It's all the way down the street blocking a right lane where there's people getting to go in the drive-thru that has 2 lanes, and then they usually have 2 other people on iPads that are taking orders too. And it's still like it's efficient as shit. Like if
and everybody's in and out in 5 minutes.
And like
it doesn't take long.
If you go to like insert any other place and you're inside and you're behind one person, it's gonna take 20 minutes to get your food. Like, what the hell? Like Chick-fil-A, they're swamped. I would be pissed if I was working at Chick-fil-A, but like, great day, sir. I hope you have a fantastic day and enjoy your food. My pleasure. Would you like another ranch? Like,
do you play a game with them? I play a game with them where I try to get them not to say my pleasure.
I try and make them, you're like, oh, cool. That's what's up. Thanks.
And then they go.
I say thanks for everything.
Yes. So I'll say like, all right. And they go, okay. Yeah. Awesome. And like, because you kind of, that's a really cruel thing. I know Whataburger, I was going to say, so not Whataburger. You know, that I think what we're trying to get at here is that Chick-fil-A should probably also have COVID tests, because you would be in and out within like it would be like you would get your sandwich, you'd get your salad, you'd get your lemonade, you would get a swab in your nose or your mouth, and then by the time you were done, like say you get swabbed when you when you enter the drive-thru. They put the thing in your nose. They swirl it around in your brain, and then you order your
signal
food.
That it's time to take your order.
Yeah,
you get swabbed.
once you get swabbed and you're like you're crying because it feels weird, and then you order your food and you go around, and then by the time it comes back, by the time you go back around and they give you a thing, my pleasure, thank you, and they go, my pleasure, you're negative. And you go, all right, we're done. They would everybody in America would already have been tested by now.
100%.
You had that same Waterburger. You had that. I keep saying that. You had that same Chick-fil-A mindset, but with health. Think about flu shots. You just go, boop, they pop you with a flu shot. You get your Frosty, your ice cream, and you're done. You're gone. And it's
really like what better way to get a flu shot if you think about it? Like I don't want to go to CVS where I have to wait in line and be like, I want a flu shot. No, can I wait?
Pop me right now.
And also then I get a little snack. I get a little treat.
Well, that's what everybody really wants after they get a shot. When we were kids, remember? It was like
you get the lollipop afterwards.
Shots, you get your lollipop, or you would get, like a sweet tart or something like that, and it was just a constant thing. But if you did that with, I think Chick-fil-A should probably do that. I
think we just solved like world
at
health,
least one problem in America. That's
so,
at least.
Like, I don't want to say we're solving the world's problems, but we just did. I think so. You're welcome, everybody.
Chick-fil-A and COVID. COVID filet. Chick-fil-A and COVID-19. Chick-fil-A and CDC.
Chick-vid-lay. Chick-vid-lay 19.
And then you could also, and then there'd also be other things you get there, like they would also
Chick-fil-A Cove.
I'm basically envisioning the Chick-fil-A / Ready Clinic.
Which is, I think we need that.
Chick-fil-A Ready Clinic.
Just build a test one, and like, what's the worst that could happen? Yeah. It doesn't work, and then we're like, okay, well, we tried. You
build one in Tampa somewhere, and like you have it open for 6 months, and you
Not
see.
in Tampa. Tampa,
I don't know. What's a good middle of the nowhere place that you could do this at? Like, I don't know, like just somewhere, middle America. You go in there, you get your COVID test.
Like the Carolinas.
Yeah, COVID test, flu shot, whatever. And then, I have a little bit of a sniffle, and they give you like your amoxicillin in your drink when you leave. So then you just take that, and I want the strawberry bubblegum amoxicillin. That's a thing. Do you realize like how good amoxicillin was? You remember that stuff? Pink stuff?
Yeah.
I could drink that all day long.
It was like the original lean.
It really was, and it tasted good, and you knew, wow, I really like vitamins would be that. That'd be really good. I think
we just solved so many problems. Like
you could
Nobel Peace Prize. Hey, what's up? Somebody nominate us.
And let's have medication in fast food. Like they already do that, right? That's
who needs to be medicated more than people that eat fast food all the time?
Yeah, and especially if it's Chick-fil-A, like like businessman special. You get into the line, get your COVID test, get a flu shot, order your sandwich and stuff, and then in your drink has something that has like your antibiotics in it.
Mm-hmm.
Or your chicken already has antibiotics in it anyway. Either way, we're pumping people full of medicine.
And like you say, like any fast food place, if it's got bad stuff in it, then it's really just kind of canceling it out. So it's almost healthy food.
So then it's almost like a placebo.
Exactly.
Yeah, and then some things have placebos in it. We're like, oh no, this will clear up your STD. Like, could you imagine going to Chick-fil-A and getting an STD shot or an STD? Oh no, that'd be against Chick-fil-A's whole.
But this is part of them being woke and shit, because everybody's mad at Chick-fil-A a lot of times. I get it. Like they just have different beliefs or whatever, but it's like, I don't know. Like don't zero in on Chick-fil-A. Don't take away Chick-fil-A. Chick-fil-A's cool.
You could also do other essential services at other restaurants.
Mm-hmm.
Like go to Olive Garden would be like OBGYN. Like you go to Olive Garden and then you get your lady parts tested for something.
The OBGYN at like a restaurant, I think is gonna be a little bit more tricky to get done. No, but like I'm not saying it's not possible. Like there's definitely some way we can figure it out.
Let's meld medical science and medical convenience, and then you would pay a little bit more, but we would also, if you needed to go to the doctor, you would just go to Chick-fil-A.
Right, and nobody's scared of going to Chick-fil-A.
No.
You don't dread that.
Yeah, but then like the higher dollar things you needed to get done, like a hernia operation, would be like at
Morton
Benihana.
Steakhouse. Go to Morton Steakhouse.
Yes,
because it's classy.
Yeah, and then it's classy, and you're like, oh well, I'm gonna get a hernia surgery, but at least I'll get a porterhouse,
right?
Or I'll get some sides, and
Benihana was another good one though too. That was a good.
Benihana would be for like I don't know, or like Buffalo Wild Wings, somebody like that. Could be like for like men's issues,
Low
like,
T. You got low T.
Low T. Well, I'm sure there's already a low T thing next to Buffalo Wild Wings somewhere.
Just knock out a wall.
Knock down a wall and say, okay, and then you go in there.
I watch Bar Rescue. That's what John Taffer does all the time. There's a barbecue joint next to it. People were already getting the barbecue anyway. Yeah. Knock out the wall, make a little window. Now, boom. We're both beneficial in this situation.
Bend over and get your prostate examined.
And have a nice meal. Why not?
Why not? And try the ghost pepper wings.
Yeah, exactly. We've solved a lot of problems today. We have solved a lot of problems today.
Did you like that? Are you taking notes? Yeah,
Prince is writing them down. Good. I wanted to talk just more about the museum. What is your favorite thing in the whole, like, how awesome is it, like, that you get to go into a museum just because, like, it doesn't feel like a job, I guess, when you walk in, you're like, this is cool. Like, there's a fucking dinosaur skeleton. Like, there's a fucking T-Rex right here that I get to see every day. Like, how awesome is it when you're just like,
I think it would be
fucking dino bones all day.
My favorite thing probably is the dinosaur stuff, the Paleo Hall. Paleo Hall is probably my favorite thing because they did some sort of, there's a thing out there about it's like only like 0.5% of all life forms, 0.5% of all life forms that have existed on Earth will become fossils. Like, obviously, so like we don't have a lot of fossils. We have a lot, but we don't have that many. And so there's such a small, like, for Stan, our T-Rex that we have, it's like a 1 in a million times trillion chance that Stan would end up standing in front of us. Like, it's such a small fraction of time to have this thing that existed 65 million years ago.
Yeah.
Like, it's such a weird, like, I've really become obsessed with things like deep time since I worked there. Like, the concept.
You sent me a video yesterday, and it
I've thought about it all day. What shows so basically what I sent him was a video of the entire timeline of the universe, or no, it was the world as we know it, on a football field. And you have all these things that happen, like on the 20-yard line, 30-yard line, blah, blah, blah. And then you don't get to the very end, and like there's like this much to the end zone, and then we show up. Like, humans like evolve and show up, and then in this little like sliver is like, rock and roll, World War I, World War II, Civil War, the pyramids, all of that like lumped into this little thing. You realize how long we have not been here on Earth, and
how quick we fucked it up.
And how how quick we've messed it up, and also too, like, we are really like dinosaurs were here for millions and millions of years, and we've only been here like 200,000 years tops, as we know it, as people we could recognize as, oh, that's a dude, that's a lady, that's that in that little tiny infinitesimal nugget of time. That's us. That's what weirds me out about the dinosaurs in the Paleo Hall, is that these things existed for so long ago, and they traveled through time to somehow be standing in front of me while I'm holding an iced coffee.
Yeah.
That to me blows my mind. And nuts. When you walk into the museum, the first few weeks I was there, and I'd always gone there. I'm a Houston native, so it was always my favorite place. But you don't realize until you're around all those things how small and insignificant you actually are, I guess. Because human beings, we have this is a really deep part of the podcast. We have this we have this strange idea that we are the lords and masters of everything, but but Mother Nature can just go like that, like right now, like so we're not really the masters of our domain here. We're not even like at this point in the span of like the world, we're like a background extra. This isn't even a cameo at this point. Like we're just like a little background, like little, like we're gross little, two-legged, two-armed creatures, and we've managed to screw the whole thing up somehow.
Well, like just in like the COVID thing that we've had, this whole lockdown, like when they were showing Venice, Italy, that's with the canals, right? They were like, look at all the pollution's gone out of the canals right now in like 3 weeks without people being on them all the time. It's like, what? Like all we do is ruin whatever we touch. Like we just destroy everything we touch. We can build awesome structures, but we just ruin it. And it's like they showed like the smog in LA where it's like, oh wow, you can sort of see the sky. This is sad. Crazy. What is this? Like, it's like that's just 3 weeks after people were at home and just not driving around all the time, but we just ruin whatever we get a hold of.
And that's what scares me about us wanting to go to the moon or Mars, because we're just going to mess that up too.
100%.
Like in 80 years, there's going to be a McDonald's on Mars. There's going to be a McDonald's on the moon. Like
then it'll
there's going to be
Venus we go take over and fuck up next time.
It will be like, Saturn. I don't want to go.
Saturn's where it's at.
Yeah, like my dad's rich. He made $1 trillion, selling space dust, and now we live on Saturn, because.
But Jupiter is gonna have a club on that red spot for sure. That's gonna be the most lit club in the galaxy, dog.
But we're gonna go and the other thing too is you always think about how humankind is going. If we are going to get off the planet, we're going to have to personally, we're going to have to evolve our bodies to go there. Like we won't look the same. We won't be the same creature that goes to, like, if we do go to Alpha Centauri in like a few thousand years.
What is that?
We're not going to it's out of our solar system. It's out of the solar system.
So like a galaxy?
Yeah. Like if we even do that, we're not going to look like this. We're going to have to, people are going to live and die on a spaceship, and their kids will probably be the ones that actually land on something like that. It won't just be, us as people, because our lifespans are so small and we're so fragile, and it's going to be an incremental thing. But yeah, humankind will definitely, whatever we touch, we will screw up.
Do you think we'll figure out that I think it's called Passengers with Chris Pratt and Jennifer Lawrence, where they were trying to, I don't know where they were going, but it was like
something like that. They
put him in they suspended animation or whatever it is, where it's like you're alive but you're not doing anything, so it doesn't age you. But then boom, here you go, and Chris Pratt came alive way too early and was like, what the fuck?
And then he was a pervert, and he's a pervert, and he opened up Jennifer Lawrence's cradle, and he was like,
this movie's like 4 years old, so you get it.
I saw it at the movie theater. I liked it.
I did too. I thought it was really good. I
didn't hate it.
It had that Imagine Dragons song in it that sounded like Coldplay.
And it had what's his name? Was the bartender robot?
The robot, yeah. I know who you're talking about, but
not Martin Sheen. He's been in a bunch of. That actor used to be married to Kate Beckinsale.
So it's not Pete Davidson.
It's not Pete Davidson. It's that actor. Let me look him up real quick. He was actually married to Kate Beckinsale. He's a really good actor too. He's been in a bunch of stuff. Let me find his name while we're.
But do you think that's gonna happen? Do you think we're gonna have that? I guess if you give it anything long enough, we'll figure it out. But it's like
Michael Sheen. That's what it was. Michael Sheen. Passenger. I mean, I would maybe, but it's not gonna. It's gonna be thousands of years, I would think. I don't know if we're ready for that now.
because in our lifetime, it won't be. Okay.
I always joke that I want to be I always joke that I'll probably go to the moon one day, but I'll end up being a janitor on the moon something. I'll work at a hotel on the moon and be I unclog moon toilets. I don't think that I never imagined that I wouldn't mind. I just don't think that this stuff is going to happen as quickly as we hope it will. And then I also don't have any faith that mankind will be kind to wherever we go. Like, I think,
like, is there oil on it? Can we drill?
Yeah, yeah. Like, oh, we found this, like, mineral, on Mars, and we're just gonna strip mine this entire, like, 300-mile valley here on Mars because we love this stuff so much and we make so much money off of it. That's how we are.
Have you seen Space Force on Netflix?
Not yet. Everybody keeps telling me I need to watch it.
Well, it's I don't want to ruin it. I don't want to ruin it for you.
I will literally put it on my list right now, since this is like my hub where everything happens, and I am actually going to make it to where I have to watch it.
But, like, not to ruin it for you, but, like, they go up there, and, like, China's also trying to get up onto the moon too, and then it immediately just shows, like, we would just fucking attack whoever else was on the moon.
Yeah,
that's like, that's 100% human nature. Like, yeah, we would fuck it up immediately.
Like,
this is nice. Let's fuck it up.
Well, we even while we went, even since we've been to the moon, like the Apollo missions, like, we left the garbage up there. Like, we left things there.
With the SpaceX launch, I went down a rabbit hole of what is it called? Space debris is what it's called. And I was like, it was because my girlfriend was just like, yeah, stuff just, like, orbits the Earth. And I was like, what? Yeah. And I was like, I was like, does it just float around in space forever? She's like, well, a lot of times it gets stuck and it'll just stuck into the gravitational pull and just orbits. And I was like, I wonder what kind of stuff is just. And I looked it up on like Wikipedia. I was like, what the fuck? There's so much shit. Just like all of those like whatever the fucking orange things were that used to be the rockets. The boosters before now. Which like I watched the GIF of them just landing over and over and over and over and over and over again because it blows my mind that they can be like, we're in space. Psych, we're back. Just landing.
Yeah.
Just land.
But there's stuff that's just sitting there. There's a really good video of everything that's out there and how. Well, obviously, everybody's seen Gravity, right?
Yeah.
The one with Sandra Bullock, the space movie, and the whole gist of the movie is that something hits the space station or whatever, and it's really small, but things move so fast in space that it just rips through anything it touches. Mm-hmm. Like, something the size of a marble can cause, like, horrific, horrible damage. So we have things, if you look at, like, I think I've seen, like, a real-time map of all the different foreign objects that we have just put into space and just left there. Because you would think there's the expectation, everything is just going to come back and burn up. But some things just
That's
go
what
out
I always
far
thought.
enough.
Yeah.
Some things just go out far enough to where they stay there. And so when you're in space, in a space station, you have to be up at a certain point, and you have to make sure you're navigating from all those things that could be out there, because if they hit the space station, it would, like, shatter into 1,000 pieces. And then Sandra Bullock would end up being stuck, like, in a space capsule trying to get back home in her underwear. So
just like, go Google stuff in space, I think.
But that goes back to our point that
I'm watching a map of it, and it's nuts.
Whatever we touch, we screw up. Whatever we touch, we basically have to pee on it a little bit. We have to, like, we make it ours. Like, there's like, I think, didn't they say that when the Apollo guys landed, all those missions, like, they would, like, all of their garbage, they would just leave there.
Yeah, because they're like, who the fuck's coming to the moon?
There's bags of poop on the moon, that we just left there, that we're just like, yeah, there we go. Like,
there's
like,
probably
it's
just
almost like
bags of poop floating around in space, all over.
Yeah,
just because that space station's just fucking people shitting in that all the time, right?
And I did a story one time about even how they said that what was it? This was crazy. That scientists have already looked into how we're going to dispose of bodies on long-term space missions, that you couldn't just, Fred dies on the way to Venus, and you can't we're not just to leave his body inside, because that takes up valuable payload space. So there's some sort of process they had, or somebody was looking into this, where you would put the body on the outside of the spaceship, and then over time the body would crumble, because, like, when your body hits that atmosphere, like, obviously it degrades, and that when you finally did come back, if you came back, your remains came back, it would be just like a bag of dust. Or you would be sit down into space, like space funeral, like Star Trek stuff.
There's a show on HBO called Avenue 5, and It's got the dude that played Gabe in The Office. He was in Silicon Valley. But it's pretty funny. One of the things in that show that happens is like they try, like somebody died, and so they're like, we gotta get rid of, like, we're just gonna send them out into space. But then they start orbiting the spaceship, and that's kind of like a bit that just happens that every time they try and get rid of somebody, like they just start orbiting the ship because the ship has its own pull, and it's just like the like it's just a running bit for like the whole like series. It like it happens like episode 2, and then so like the next couple of episodes they'll just show the spaceship from afar. You'll see an outside shot of the spaceship, and it's just like a random body floating around it, and then like there's 3 bodies floating around it later, and you're like, okay.
Well, it's like if it's almost like getting buried at sea.
Yeah, like, because we're just gonna have fuck ups like that though. Like we're definitely gonna have the fuckers. Like, God damn it, whose asshole gets like somebody's asshole be puckered up, just stuck against the glass somewhere. Like we gotta look at this. We gotta look at Mitch's asshole until he like freeze dries and falls off. I don't know.
He's gonna be orbiting us for the next 20 years, and then he'll fall. That's like that's what I'm saying. Like we don't realize like long-term space travel is going to be really, really gross too. Mm-hmm. Because you're going to have like weird interbreeding happening. You're going to have like just aging is probably going to be more rapid, and like you can't walk correctly when you come back from space for that long. Like you're like your legs have turned into doll legs because you're not really used to walking on.
You'd be taller.
You'd be taller, but you would also. Did they say something like?
What was that Terry guy that went up to space for a year? And his twin didn't, and now they're like trying to see how they're doing. But he's like doing okay as of now. He was kind of an older guy though, wasn't he?
He's running for office in Arizona or something weird. Like he's a politician now. He's an astronaut. Well, I think is that Gabby Gifford's husband? I think so.
Oh, I didn't know.
Yeah, one of them is married to Gabby Gifford's. I mean, maybe they switch off.
That'd be
These are twins.
You wouldn't know.
Weird, sexy thing. So I just think that space travel is going to be a lot weirder than we can ever imagine. Like for now,
I feel like we're high doing this podcast, and we're not high. I just feel like we are high.
Yeah.
Like maybe if you want to pause real fast and just smoke a little bit, like I think it might help. Like I love this is I told Craig before we started recording, I was like, usually I write down a bunch of notes. I'll take a bunch of stuff. I had prepared to do. I was gonna go down a JFK conspiracy theory.
Let's save that for November when I come back.
Yeah, I was going to say, because now we've gone on for like an hour and a half, and I was like, no, we'll do JFK later. Like, we can do that a whole nother time. And like, I just was like, I know Craig shoots the shit. Like, Craig and me are just going to shoot the shit. And like, it goes one way. We fucking, like, I love that. That's what I fucking love about Craig. Craig's awesome.
So when people turn off this podcast, they're going to be like, wow, I didn't realize space is that weird. And wow,
I've been on space since like the SpaceX thing just made me like, it's like it takes a little bit of something to like get you back into it again. It's kind of like with dinosaurs. Like I see one thing, like Jurassic Park comes out every time there's a new one. I'm like, let's learn about Triceratops again, and I'll fucking go down that wormhole. But SpaceX, like I was like, space. Let's learn more about space. Space is tight, and space is the coolest of all of them. Space and dinosaurs like A and B.
And space keeps expanding. Like the universe,
black holes. We don't know any of it.
It keeps getting bigger and bigger and bigger. Like that's another thing that I've learned. And I'm not a scientist at all. I'm just a guy that does the social media for a science museum. But space keeps expanding. That's the part that blows my mind. Like it's not stopping. Like there's not an end point for space. It keeps going. And you start thinking, okay, what's beyond that? What's beyond that?
How high up in space, if you just left and hypothetically you would never run out of fuel or propulsion or whatever, say SpaceX just had an unlimited rocket.
Yeah.
How high up could you just keep going?
Forever.
Just forever and ever and ever and ever.
Yeah, because space keeps expanding. That's like nuts. It keeps on getting bigger and bigger. Like there's no stop to it.
That blows my mind.
Like, and even our brains, somebody else said this, it may have been Neil Tyson at one point, that there are as many stars in the universe as there are grains of sand on all of our beaches.
It's nuts.
Think about that.
And I own one.
Yeah. That is insane. And we only live on one of those. Well, we only live near one of those stars. So there's, yeah, like, and even then, like, our sun is pretty badass, but it's not as badass as some of the other stars that are out there.
See, I've been calling our sun kind of a fraud ass bitch a little bit. Like,
no, our star is like our star is a single A backup shortstop compared to the like Hall of Fame stars that are out there that nourish, eons and eons and millions of planets. And so yeah, there's that. That's why I always get arguments with people too that they just assume that there's aliens out there, and I'm just like, yeah, there's probably out there, but you don't realize how far away they probably are if they do exist, and they're probably out there thinking the same thing.
Right.
Like, I wonder if there's anybody else out there. Little do they know they're out here. But then that's another thing. You want to really get obsessed with stuff is start watching YouTube videos and lectures about what would happen about other life in space, basically, that we couldn't comprehend what they are and vice versa.
Yeah.
So there's that. And there's also that, would you really want to be contacted by them?
No.
Like, would you
terrified.
really want, because they're not, and like, to our point earlier about, everything we touch, we ruin or we destroy.
They probably do too.
Yeah. And imagine, because there's a list of like 10 different, because there's a list of 10 different things that could happen, that if we were contacted, there's these messages we don't want. Like, we would not want them saying, we're coming for you. We would not want them saying, it's basically all these different horrible scenarios that would happen, because it's very unlikely that they would just want to come here and just check it out.
Or how would we know, like, that's what I don't understand. We're trying to decipher this alien transition. It's like, what if they probably don't speak English? How the fuck are we like, they're like, gleef, glop, gloof, glop, glop. What does that mean? What is that? But nobody knows that.
We're somebody's aliens.
Right? No, that's what I mean. And they're like, what is this English bullshit that they're talking?
Or like, we know less. We know, what is it? This thing. Don't hold me to this though, guys. I think we know more about
to it though.
We know more about space than we do about the bottom of the ocean.
Yeah, I think I've heard that.
It's something to that effect, that it's basically, we have not explored nearly enough of the ocean that we basically, like, that is like undiscovered territory down there, and we have no clue what's going on down there, because every time we go down to the bottom of the ocean, we find out weird new things, and we find new weird fish and weird new organisms that might as well be aliens to us.
Pretty much.
We don't know anything that's going on. So yeah, if you really want to sit and think about just science things, like, your brain will blow up, and you're just like, I'm just gonna stare at this box for a few minutes. Like, you feel really stupid. Like, that's happened to me since I worked at the Science Museum. I have more of a respect for things around me, I think, like, especially when it comes to just like life. This sounds really weird, like I used to be like a murderer or something, but now, like, whenever I see,
murdered one person, but he got out.
Yeah,
he's off. He was acquitted.
But when I see like little things, or I see like plants and animals and flowers, my first inclination isn't just to ignore it. Is I go, wow, that took a billion years for that thing to evolve into that. Wow. Like, I don't think like, well, that's a pretty flower. I think it's a pretty flower, but I don't go, oh, I go, wow, imagine what that would have looked like 250 million years ago with all this extra oxygen. So like that, and that makes you really feel small, but in a good way. And I wish more people saw things that way.
We just look at it in terms of like our life, where it's like, this 4 years is college. So that is the fourth year seems so far away as a freshman. And then I got to get a job, but that's 10 years down the line. That's so far away. And like, you don't think like 10 billion years ago, there was shit going on that had nothing to do with you. And you, like, the world, like, you just tend to like, cause you're looking at things like from that point of view of, well, I want to be doing, I feel like a lot of it is setting goals for yourself, or like what you want to achieve, or your dreams and your hopes and stuff like that. You're like, I want to be a baseball player when you're a little kid. And you're like, well, I got to be 18 at least, right? And so then that's 10 years away when you're an 8-year-old. And then like you become self-centered, and that's human nature. That's human nature. But then it's just like you were saying, this fucking flower took 250 billion years to fucking like figure out that it was going to be blue, that it was going to sprout in the spring, that it was going to do this. Like
it's even a miracle that we're here nuts. Because if the last extinction event that everybody talks about was obviously the big asteroid rock that hit in the Gulf of Mexico and wiped out the last of the dinosaurs 65 million years ago. Had that not happened, we wouldn't have evolved. But even then, like, it took so many different things to go right for us to even be here. Like, so many different chances. Yeah, like so many things had to happen for us to be here. And so then, and I feel like I'm getting like super serious and weird here. And you guys usually have a lot of fun, but
I'm having fun.
I get that to me should make people respect just human life even more. When you realize, like, it's a total crapshoot that we're even here. Like, so many things had to go right and so many other things had to go wrong for this exact little civilization to happen, just for somebody to get stabbed at Popeyes for a sandwich. You know, like, like so many weird
think about
things.
that next time, guys. Last podcast, I told everybody, I was talking about the new Dave Chappelle special. I was like, it was awesome. It gave me a whole new perspective on a lot of things. I didn't look at it from the way that he pointed it out. And I was like, go watch it. Fucking go watch it. Yeah. Now I'm telling you, get stoned and fucking watch Blue Planet or watch Planet Earth and just fucking, you'll appreciate shit. When you watch that fucking, like, that little lizard get away from all the fucking snakes that are getting, and you're like, fucking go, buddy. It's like, that's life that fucking thing has to deal with every day. You can wake up and go to work and not worry about getting eaten by snakes.
And that sort of thing has been going on for millions of years.
For us to evolve to where we have houses.
Yeah, and that's been going on for millions of years. And also, that's why I was talking about the Paleo Hall in our museum, is that I get so excited that, like, well, sometimes they'll find fossils where they can show, like, they've been in fights and stuff. Like, you know, that one of our T-Rexes, you can tell that he was a scrapper. Like, he, like, definitely had seen some stuff and had, like, fought some dudes, or, you know, he had been attacked. There's a really cool documentary. It's a little outdated now, but it's called Walking with Dinosaurs, and it sort of talks about that. But how hard these giant beasts and their lives were, because they were basically just up against each other, like human nature. Like, not human nature. They were up against each other, like nature. They were up against each other. And, you know, when you woke up in the morning, you know, you immediately were hunting for food and something else was hunting you. So, like, if you lived your entire life, and it's such a miraculous thing for one of those fossils to have made it back here, for somebody to have dug in the exact right same spot to find Stan, the T-Rex, and for Stan the T-Rex to be standing in front of a kid at the museum. That to me is miraculous. That is, you're right. You probably at some point you do need to have some sort of, like, chemical, like, nudge. I always tell people, like, mushrooms or something like that definitely unlocks that portal in your brain that normally, was it Bill Hicks told it, wasn't Bill Hicks, it was like, you know, you squeegee your third eye, you know, once you squeegee that third eye, you start understanding things. And I've noticed that just watching things like that and reading books, and it doesn't have to be like a big thick book, it can be something small, it really will just expand your brain, and it will make you think differently about everything around you. You know, like, it'll make you even think differently about honking at somebody in traffic that cut you off. Like, I find myself, since I've started to work there and I've had this science brain in me now, that some things don't stress me out as they did before. And you just realize, okay, things are human nature. It's just our nature. It's our makeup. We're going to act that way. Of course, we're going to be territorial, just like the animals are. It really does. I can't say it enough. It really has warped me for the better, I think.
Yeah.
You know, so.
No, I mean, and like, there's ways that, like, there's shit, like, it's bad for you, but this is definitely something that's like, oh, it's awesome though. And just like, and one last thing, like we'll get into some segments here in a second. I don't mean to, like, make you have a 14-hour podcast with me. But, like, this has been a lot of fun though.
I have 22 text messages, by the way. We've been talking that long.
Oh shit! Are you in a group, or?
There's some groups, and then there's some work stuff too. So
group is a little different, but yeah. I'll have like 37 in my group chat. Like, what the fuck, guys?
And it's just like people going, YouTube video,
LOL, meme. Here you go.
Yeah, tweet.
I didn't really miss too much. But like, just like where you talk about like where the dinosaur, like you're kind of like this had to do this and all this stuff, and like I as a semi-degenerate gambler, I've gotten into horse racing in this whole pandemic because they've been running, and it's just like just trying to like get better about like learning about that shit and learning like who to bet on and stuff. It's nuts just learning like how like horses have evolved over years. We're like used to like only be able to run a horse this often, and now it's like this horse can run every 3 weeks. But it can only run these distances, and you don't want to stretch it out on these distances because its ligaments aren't able to hold up if you run it too many times in this. And it's like they're breeding horses, like just kind of like a little bit about
isn't
learning.
Horse
like,
semen
horse breeding.
super expensive too?
Oh fuck
like,
yeah, dude! Like that's why if you win a so like when I'm not good at horse betting a lot. I mean I get hot, but like I'm not great at it. But like I know, like I've always watched the Kentucky Derby. That's just like an American thing. Kentucky Derby's on, you kind of pay attention. And like I know Curlin won the Kentucky Derby. I know American Pharoah won the Triple Crown. And so like they'll say the sires of the horses.
And you know where they came from.
And I'm like, fucking Curlin, let's bet on him. Go. His dad won the Kentucky Derby. He's fucking got the genes. Let's do it. Because if you win the fucking Kentucky Derby, like after you're done, you just fuck and get paid like millions of dollars. Like your trainer or owner gets paid millions of dollars, but you just fuck and produce other horses. But they're like, hopefully they'll win again. Let's go. And then American Pharoah was the first one to break through and win the Triple Crown in like 60 years. So everybody was like, please fuck my horse. Please fuck my horse. And like, so it was like 3 mil of fucking like sperm, like a fucking fuck sesh.
There was a guy in Winnie, I guess that's what east of here, and he made his money in bull semen. Like he just was like, he was a bull semen either dealer. That sounds weird, but he made all his money with that. Like that was like how he made his million. He was a millionaire just by trading and facilitating the buy and sell of bull semen.
He had like a farm basically, and then would be like, would you like to breed with this bull? Come on over. We'll set up a thing.
They'll build up a thing. Well, they will inseminate the female horses or the bulls or the female cows. And they have ways of making that happen. It's kind of like a fleshlight for animals. I guess it's a creepy thing. So like, I guess there's people that make that's another fun thing to talk about is like the weird ways that people have become millionaires.
Oh yeah.
You know, like it's like, how'd your grandpa make all his money? Oh, bull semen. And his name, what? I think, his nickname was like Nutty Jerry. So it's like
Nutty Jerry.
He was a really cool guy. He had a concert venue out in Winnie, and like you could tell it was one of those things where he had tons of money, and since he had tons of money, he didn't really have to worry about ticket sales. So Jerry would just
for fun
throw money at an artist, like, hey, the Judds, come play my club on Saturday night. And like you could tell, because nobody wanted to drive out. Nobody was going to drive from like downtown Houston to go see the Judds in Winnie, which is like halfway to, I think it's like almost to Beaumont. So nobody would want that. And so he was like, just I'll throw some money at this, and everything was built on bull semen.
That's nuts.
And that is the nut graph for this show is built on bull semen.
It's just like, I don't know, just like with the bull semen and with the fucking horses, just like that is nuts. Where you're just like, that's all because of all this shit. Like over time, has been able to function, and like people have been like initially you didn't know, like the dinosaurs didn't know this is the alpha dinosaur. So if you do this, and then I'm gonna be my kid will be the strongest dinosaur. But then like people came along, and then their own selfish needs kind of were like, all right, I need the best horses. Let's develop this. And it's like you're furthering evolution by just kind of out of greed a little bit. But it's also
don't get me started on evolution. There's a Dr. Scott Solomon that you definitely, if you just want to turn this podcast into a full-on science podcast.
I feel like this is the most Joe Rogan-y podcast I've ever had. Jamie, pull this up, Jamie.
Jamie, wow. The Prince can be my Jamie. There's
Prince, pull that up. Yeah.
There's what was I getting at? Oh, evolution. You're about to evolution. Evolution still hasn't stopped. Like a lot of people think that human evolution, you would think by looking out your window that it has stopped, that we're like stagnated, but it keeps going incrementally. And Scott Solomon, he's a professor at Rice, and I was talking to him one time about this, and he's like, human evolution used to be aided by, these 500 people took a boat here, and everybody got it on with these people, and you make this group of people, you make this and this. But now it's so close that, like, for instance, somebody listening to the show right now can get on a plane, go to Paris, meet the love of their life, start a family with them, and that is how, like, life, and it's all part of this weird goopy ooze that we are as humans. And then in 1,000 years, like, one little thing will change from us, like, or even like you have things like
we have like the text neck, where everybody's got that spike in the back of their skull that's starting to kind of form, and they're like, they always look at their phones.
That's just a small part of it. I think they said that, like, if human evolution keeps going as it is now, and our technology keeps on affecting us, like, there's, like, our brains have already started to shrink, they said, because
I definitely have a very small brain.
We have more, I guess, external ways of keeping intelligence, and our brains have gotten a tad
like
smaller.
Twitter and Facebook.
Yeah, our brains have gotten a tad smaller to basically, like, oh, we can conserve some space now because this knowledge is over here, or, like, we don't need to know how to track animals like we used to do, because now our brains have basically changed for us, and our bodies eventually will change too.
Like GPSs, just for an example, like, I don't fucking know directions at all. And, like, my dad used to have to be able to read maps and shit. And it's like, I'm like, I don't know. My phone tell me?
GPS is another thing too, that we don't realize how much GPS affects our everyday lives. Like, I've had that conversation with people like, GPS went away tomorrow, it wouldn't bother me. And I'm like, well, it kind of would, because there's so many different things. There's shipping charts, there's satellites, there's all these things that we depend on GPS for, besides, like, like government surveillance,
right?
So it's like there's so many different things that we use that for, but that's just all a part of that brain drain that happens, that goes somewhere else, and our brains end up taking up that space for hate and anger on Twitter.
Exactly.
Like, our brain, like, it refunnels to that.
It should, right?
Yeah, but it's definitely, like, I think I've seen there's other things you can watch too about, like, evolution as it stands now, like how much different we'll look in a few thousand years. Like, if global warming obviously keeps happening, our bodies will change. We'll have to adapt to new ways of looking. Space travel, if we all go into space, like, there will not be people who look like me and you in space in 1,000 years. Like, something about, like, your brain, your head will get bigger, your eyeballs will be bigger, something about the amount of oxygen that's available for you.
We turn green, right?
Something weird like that. Like, we'll be able to, like, eventually humankind as we know it would probably evolve to be able to breathe in different atmospheres, but that'll be like millions and millions of years that will evolve into looking, because it's, even if you look at, like, even dinosaurs, they had to evolve along the way. Like, we have a whole
be able to
section,
survive, basically.
We have a whole section when you walk into the Paleo Hall, and by the way, we have more things in the museum. It's not just dinosaurs, but you walk into the Paleo Hall, and if you walk to the left, it basically takes you through what we know of evolution, and it starts with trilobites, which are those weird little roly-poly looking guys, and those guys have to evolve into crab-looking lobster creatures, which evolves into something else, which evolves into something else. Well, then you get Dimetrodons, and Dimetrodons are dinosaurs. We're closer genetically to Dimetrodons than we are dinosaurs. Dimetrodons are those weird-looking lizard-type things. I have one of them, I think, right here on my leg. Dimetrodons, and Dimetrodons died out 250 million years ago during the Permian, and then basically evolution had to restart over again, and then you end up getting dinosaurs, and then while dinosaurs are happening, mammals and marsupials and things like that started to sort of bubble up under the ground, and just like as like moles and weird rat looking creatures, and then eventually we turned into one of those things, and then even closer, thousands of years ago, we even had to divert between Neanderthal and Homo sapiens. So it's like there's this divergence of, and that's the other thing too. Like a lot of people, they always use Neanderthal as a derogatory term, but we've now found in certain instances, certain studies out there, that Neanderthals were actually smarter than us. And
really,
like, even though Neanderthals, there's the media conception that, oh, I'm a Neanderthal, like, you know, beating your woman with a club over the head, that kind of thing, that they were actually a little bit sweeter. Like we were humans.
they gave her flowers before they beat her with the club.
Humans were like, we were the monsters. And somehow Neanderthals were the ones that got weeded out genetically. And we ended up becoming, you know, the dominant species or dominant whatever. But yeah, the concept of Neanderthals being like these, you know, nasty monsters, you know, beating people with clubs wasn't quite true. That it was us. We were the bad, like we're the white trash. We're the.
But we were like VHS and Betamax, and we were in the lesser quality that just ended up being more popular at the end.
Yeah,
of it.
we were the DVD instead of Blu-ray. Blu-ray's better than DVD. We're like we're the low rent, trashy.
But everybody's but like we've populated it. Where like your friend that was like, dude, I got a Blu-ray player. Like, I don't give a fuck, dude. I have an Xbox.
So we keep changing, and we keep. But obviously, like, I mean, we have to be smart about those sort of things. We can't just, you know, be. That goes back to me, what I was saying earlier. It just goes back to respecting things more. Like I found that about myself, that since I have been around that kind of thing, like I get excited when I see kids walking in the door, because one of those kids could be the kid that could, I don't know, like cure cancer, you know, like one of those. Like, I know that's like a tiny little, you know, probably won't happen, but I like thinking of.
He could be Bruce Willis that saves us from a asteroid later.
From the asteroid, he could be the one that blows himself up inside the thing. That's a great movie, by the way.
It is not necessarily the most scientifically accurate, but still great movie. Great movie. And the fucking soundtrack to it, phenomenal. I remember I owned a CD as a child. I was like...
It had like 4 Aerosmith songs on it, right? 5
Aerosmith
songs?
and Journey was like the majority of it.
That's right. There was... Did you ever watch Deep Rising? Or no, Deep Impact?
One time, I think. I don't remember much of it.
That year, for a while there was Armageddon, Deep Impact. Deep Impact came out before Armageddon. Deep Impact was basically the same concept. And then there was Dante's Peak and Volcano.
I didn't see Volcano. I saw Dante's Peak.
Yeah. Volcano's cool. Volcano was the one with Tommy Lee Jones, right?
I believe so,
yes. It was Tommy Lee Jones. They had this really cool, weird, gnarly death where this guy basically burns alive walking into lava. It's really wild. Like in LA somewhere. He walks into lava and he's like, goodbye, and like he melts.
Yeah, that doesn't sound like a fun way to go.
Dante's Peak was the one with Pierce Brosnan, right?
Yes.
Yes, and then those people get boiled alive inside like some sort of hot spring. There's other movies that they've made like there was 2 Truman Capote movies. There was Capote, and there was another one with Toby Jones, this other weird actor that wasn't Philip Seymour
Capote
Hoffman.
had Philip Seymour Hoffman in it,
which is amazing. And then you had another like the low rent version. There was 2 different Steve Prefontaine movies, and Steve Prefontaine was this long distance runner in the 70s, and they made one with Billy Crudup and one with Jared Leto.
Was it Jared Leto one the successful one?
I think, yeah, because it was like he made it right after. It was his first big boy movie after not Party of Five. What was it? My So-Called Life. Mm-hmm. It was like his first big boy movie when he was like, I'm going to be an actor. And like, it was like, because he grew a mustache. So that was like the big deal. Was it
professional then?
Yeah. There's a lot of things like, there's a lot of like double-sided. There was 3 Mars movies, I think. There was Mission to Mars and then Red Planet.
Mars Attacks.
Mars Attacks is a treasure. That movie like is so ahead of its time. That's such a treasure movie. I love that so much.
I remember watching as a kid. We were moving to Atlanta, or no, we were moving from Atlanta to Houston. We had to get out of our house, so we were in a hotel, and like that was like on the movie thing. My dad was like, "We'll watch this," and I remember like, "What is this? Like, I don't even understand this." And like as an adult, when you watch it back, like, oh, okay.
Like, did you notice the Jack Black's in it?
Yeah.
He plays Billy Glenn.
So many random fucking cameos in it that you're like, what? Oh, okay, I had no idea.
Jim Brown, Pam Grier,
Sarah
Jessica
lady gets
Parker.
her head put on the dog.
Yeah. I'm not even looking at IMDb. I'm just obviously Jack Nicholson, Glenn Close, George C. Scott was one of those guys. Tom Jones for some reason, right? Tom Jones was in it. Lucas Haas.
It was pretty much just like everybody. Like you're like, oh fuck, he was in it too.
And it was a Tim Burton movie.
Yeah, and I'm not a huge Tim Burton guy. I'm not a huge Tim Burton guy. But the fact
that it was also, and then on top of everything, it was a Tim Burton movie, which was just, I think he made that right after, what's that? Oh God. I think he made that after Ed Wood. I think that was his follow-up to Ed Wood. So he was already on that kind of like a jokey, fun sort of vibe. So it was like, I think it was.
I never saw Ed Wood.
Yeah, Ed Wood is really good. Yeah.
I just remember being like creeped out by Nightmare Before Christmas and all that stuff.
I've never seen it.
As a kid, I was just creeped out by it. So like, I didn't know it was a Tim Burton movie, and I remember watching it back like later as like growing up, and like after I grew up, and was like, oh.
I know people have Nightmare Before Christmas tattoos, but I don't understand the appeal of it. I liked
Edward Scissorhands. That was
Edward
cool
Scissorhands is good because it's weird too. Like it's another like weird Tim Burton. I'm trying to think here. What did he do? IMDb is like my favorite thing in the world. Okay, so he.
Or do you just go
the app? Yeah. So So this is Tim Burton's late '80s to '90s run. You start out with Pee-wee's Big Adventure. Classic. Beetlejuice. Batman, the first Batman. After Batman, he does Edward Scissorhands. Then he goes back and does Batman Returns. Then he does Ed Wood, Mars Attacks, Sleepy Hollow, Planet of the Apes, Big Fish, which makes me cry every single time I watch it. Takes 2 years off, makes Charlie and the Chocolate Factory. Then he makes Corpse Bride, Sweeney Todd, Alice in Wonderland, Dark Shadows. Things get a little weird, obviously. Big Eyes. And then Dumbo is the latest thing. And I never saw that version of Dumbo.
I didn't see the last like 5 ones you named.
You never saw Sleepy Hollow?
I guess, okay, I did see Sleepy Hollow, then was the last one. And I saw like 4 seconds of the Johnny Depp, Charlie.
Sweeney Todd?
Wasn't he Charlie in the Chocolate Factory?
Charlie, he was Mr. Wonka.
Right,
that's a weird.
I saw like a little bit of that, and I was like, I don't like this. I'm out.
That movie made the original Willy Wonka look really normal.
Which in the original one is fucking like it's another planet when you're watching it.
Yeah, like that's I remember watching that as a kid and being frightened of it. Like even kind of like I don't know.
Do you think he just does a bunch of drugs and then puts them together? Like I feel like he has to.
I don't.
It's got a very druggy like feel to a lot of those things. I think that's just how
Tim Burton is. Like I think that's literally just how he is.
It's like a human cartoon of everything that he's looking at.
That's not an affectation. That's not I'm going to make a movie about I think that was literally just how he is. So
because I always kind of look at Tim Burton kind of like what's his face? Hunter S. Thompson. Like I feel like he's kind of got that vibe about him. I was like, that's kind of how he like looks at shit. Maybe not as much drug use, but like, I feel like he's dabbled a little bit.
He would have, I wonder if he wasn't on the short list to make Fear and Loathing, because I bet Fear and Loathing directed by Tim Burton would have been insane. Like it was already weird with Terry Gilliam, but like imagine like a Tim Burton teaming up with Johnny Depp to make Fear and Loathing. That would have been like I don't want to say like that would have been, a
like
wet
darker
dream.
I feel like than
darker but like with, because if you even go back and watch Pee-wee's Big Adventure, that's really dark. Like, I don't.
Yeah, I might need
that's
to do that.
You need to do that. Like, that is a strange movie. That is not a normal. At the time when you're little, when I watched, because I'm a few years older, so I remember watching that and going, okay, I get all this. This is fine. But then obviously when Large Marge shows up, I would always hide. And I always be like, oh, I got to go to the bathroom, Mom. And my mom would be like, why do you have to go to the bathroom? I'm like, no reason. And it was because Large Marge was about to do the whole face thing. But that's a weird movie. And then going back and watching it as an adult, that movie turns 35 this year. Going back and watching that now, you notice so many strange things about that movie that you like. It's weird things that like, because the whole Pee-wee character was weird anyway. If you look back, because it started out as a Broadway, well, not a Broadway show. It started out as like a weird live show thing that Paul Rubens came up with in LA, like in the punk scene. He was like a punk character. And there's so many weird inside adult jokes, even in Pee-wee's Big Adventure, that you have to watch now. And you go, oh, wow, they really went there with that. Or like, oh, that's what that means.
I didn't get that at all. Yeah.
Beetlejuice is the same way now, too. If you rewatch Beetlejuice, I don't even know if
that was on like Halloween. We try and kind of watch Beetlejuice around Halloween.
Really?
And like,
Beetlejuice is that's another one of those. That's another one of those ones that really makes me wish that not Tim Burton. It makes me realize just how much of a national treasure Michael Keaton is. Because everything he's been in is amazing. Like, I love.
Dude, I remember watching Birdman, and I didn't even know, because Birdman was an early movie that year, and like I didn't know that it had Oscar buzz or anything, and I just like I can't remember who was in it. It was Zach Galifianakis was in it, and he was on Jimmy Fallon, and my girlfriend and I were watching it, and I was like, that kind of looks good, and we were just bored one weekend. We were like, let's go see it, and I was like, it's such a weird movie, but it was like really good. Like that was like one of those that like I thought about like 2 days later. Kind of like we were talking about Passengers. I was kind of like thinking about the concept of it a couple days later, and it was like that makes it a good movie to me in my mind. And
Michael Keaton also did another one that's really good. It's the story is it's not as accurate as it probably could have been, but The Founder, and it's about McDonald's and how his character Ray Kroc sort of basically just like ripped McDonald's away from the McDonald's people. But it's really good because it's Michael Keaton. But then we've also seen that he can still do comedy things, especially like when he was in The Other Guys. He was the captain or whatever. Like, Michael Keaton is legit. He's the shit. Yeah, like he really is. Like, Michael Keaton is, for me, like but Beetlejuice.
He's underrated as shit though, because was Batman what ruined him? Like, did people just? As a kid, that was my Batman. That was my Batman as a kid. Yeah. So I was just like, I love him. I think he's great. He's Batman. And then like he went away to me forever, and then he kind of just sort of recently, in my eyes, came back onto the scene and just the shit I was paying attention to.
Think about it too. Before he did Batman, his biggest movie before Batman was Beetlejuice.
Right.
Like, I mean, he had like Mr. Mom. I'm looking up now. He had Mr. Mom, Gung Ho, Johnny Dangerously, Night Shift. So he was always like kind of a fun guy. And then to have him jump into the Batman character.
So like, weird.
Even if you watch even clips from back then of there's a
channel. It was like Ben Affleck, basically. When they were like, Ben Affleck's gonna be Batman, I was like, that doesn't make sense.
But having Michael Keaton, then looking back now, and then after Batman Returns, he didn't come back for obviously Batman Forever. But then he did like a lot of Multiplicity. Clooney, he did Multiplicity, which is amazing.
I haven't seen that.
Jackie you never seen Multiplicity? Okay, the premise of Multiplicity, and it was really because it came out in the summer of '96, and it was a big deal because the effects were so crazy. It was the first time they had done like blue screen, green screen type stuff, and the premise is that Michael Keaton is a busy guy, and he finds a scientist. They find each other, and he makes several copies of himself. And every copy of himself is a different facet of his personality. So, like, one of them is a very macho, rugged, like, drinking, smoking guy. One is very feminine and very nurturing and very loving. And then there's another one that is just really stupid. Like he's just stupid. Like he's like a little kid stupid, and like he like that. You need to. That's.
I'll watch it this weekend. I'll watch that this weekend.
That's a classic.
I'm writing it down.
He didn't really
I
do
wrote
anything
that with
big.
Walking with Dinosaurs. He
didn't do anything much until. Okay, he was in Herbie Fully Loaded. I mean, that's a whole other.
That was a thing.
But then, then he kind of came back like mainstream with the other guys. Captain Gene.
Yeah, that was the fucking best.
Don't call me Captain Gene.
Don't go chasing waterfalls.
You better creep. That's funny.
I feel like you're just quoting TLC movies. TLC stuff.
That was such a good. I go between the other guys and Step Brothers are like two of my favorite.
Yeah, films. I think Step Brothers wins in those two, but the other guys The other guys just underrated as shit.
Well, it's so weird,
and people don't appreciate it as much as they should. Desk
I
Pop was one of the greatest fucking bits. That was hilarious. The fucking Yankee Clipper, fucking great. Like,
it shows to me like people don't appreciate, and I'll die on this hill. It's fine. I'll even get mail on this hill. But I love Mark Wahlberg. Like anything he does to me is just hilarious. Even sometimes the dramatic stuff is hilarious to me too. I'm just so entertained by Mark Wahlberg. I don't know what it is.
Like, he's pretty funny. Like, dude, Ted is such a dumb movie.
Ted,
but I fucking love Ted. I love Ted. I laughed 100% of the time through Ted.
I enjoyed
and Ted 2. Ted 2 was just as funny.
I enjoyed that stupid what is it? The Spencer movie or whatever that came on Netflix during like when lockdown started. It was like this. It was called Spencer Confidential or something. It's a stupid Netflix movie, and it's him. He's like an ex-cop, gets out of jail after 5 years, and comes back and like kicks ass, and it's this whole thing. And like, but it's really dumb and fun, and that's why I love Mark Wahlberg because it's always
like Daddy's Home or whatever.
Daddy's Home.
Like that shit is like funny as fuck to me.
There's Three Kings was good. It wasn't really a comedy. One of my favorite movies the year it came out, and nobody else liked it, was Pain and Gain.
I never saw it.
Pain and Gain was about. It was a true story, sort of. It was loosely based on a true story, and it was him and The Rock, and they played like meatheads, like guys that worked at a gym. And like they get stuck in like into a weird like crime thing, and it's just really funny. And they're like huge built, like I think they worked out for like 6 months straight together before they made the movie. Like you could definitely tell, like they're beefed the hell out. Like The Rock can like spend an afternoon in the gym and be that way, but like you can definitely tell by looking at them, they like really went all out.
Have you seen like The Rock? Everywhere he goes, like, anytime he does anything, like he has his people bring his entire gym in a tent.
Yeah.
And they set it up at wherever, like, so he's got his full gym, like from his home, just in a giant, like the Texans have a practice bubble. He has,
but he has a workout bubble. I would cry if I met The Rock. I really would.
I used to think he was such a douche, and then like he just became lovable as shit. Because he was doing movies like The Tooth Fairy. He was doing all kinds of dumb stuff. It's like, dude, what are you up to? And it's like he was just trying to get into acting. He had to get in the shitty roles before he could figure it out.
I knew The Rock was something special when I saw him in what was it? Reno 911 when they went to Miami.
Yeah.
And he gets blown up like in the first 2 minutes.
That was good. I thought that Reno 911, super underrated show. Super underrated show.
I think it came back on Quibi, but I think that's I think that's a weird pyramid scheme. So I don't. My iPad is dying.
Oh shit! Can you not plug it in?
Hold on 1 second.
Do you have yeah, that's cool. Oh, yeah, why don't we get into some segments? I'll read some ads while you find a plug. I'll read a couple ads. Right. Let me knock out. Let me tell you guys about our favorite brewery, my favorite beer in the entire world. I have been on my fourth Southern brunch from Southern Star Brewing Company right now. This is one of those that you can only get at the tap room right now. See, like the can is a spring pilsner. If you're watching the video version, it's a spring pilsner. They have a pretty sweet can that they've designed. They just haven't been able to can them yet, so they're waiting on all of that. So they are only canning it like if you buy it at the brewery. 3525 North Fraser Street up in Conroe. I was just up there 2 weekends ago. My favorite brewery in all of Texas. Before they sponsored the podcast, Bombshell Blonde was my favorite beer ever. They saw us tweeting about like the podcast, saw that we were drinking Bombshell Blonde, and they're like, fuck yeah, that's awesome. And I was like, you guys should, we should work some out. That's how Southern Star became a part of the podcast. The best beer in the entire world. If you're into IPAs, they got Conspiracy Theory IPA, they have Subatomico Juicy IPA. Maybe you like the blondes. Now they have red and blue Bombshell Blonde. And my personal favorite is the strawberry Bombshell Blonde from Southern Star Brewing Company. Go and get you some of the best beer in the entire world. They're at most liquor stores and grocery stores. Total Wine, Specs, Goody. All those definitely have a great selection of Southern Star beers. And then I know Kroger, Randall's, and H-E-B definitely do too. And you can also always go up to the brewery and get beer to go that they still have at 3525 North Fraser Street in Conroe. They got a bunch of awesome events. Go check them out. Follow them on Facebook. If you're drinking a Southern Star, tag them at Southern Star BC, at Southern Star Brewing on Instagram and Twitter. Tag us at Pass the Gravy Pod. I am at Alex J. Middleton. Throw Craig a follow at Craig Hlavaty, Craig Hlavaty on Twitter and Instagram. Southern Star Brewing Company, guys, the best beer in the entire world, the official beer sponsor of Pass the Gravy podcast. And this is also brought to you by Little M Air Fresheners. Save the trees, guys. A lot of people forget it costs like 11 trees if you buy one of those stupid little baby bitch green little tree air fresheners. Don't quote me on that, and don't research it at all. Don't fact check anything I'm saying, but it costs like 11 trees to cut down to make one of those. Little M Air Freshener, they actually plant a tree every single time you do that. And by planting a tree, I mean we throw bird seed out every time there's an order that comes in, and eventually one of those is going to turn into a weed that could turn into a tree. So, you know, it's sort of like they're giving back. But Little M Air Fresheners, the best air fresheners in the entire world. Now they're selling keychains. The getaway car keychain of theirs is flying off the shelves. So if you want to order an awesome keychain, it's got those old school motel looking keychains. Get those at littlemshop.com, littlemshop.com. They got journals, they got stickers, they got all kinds of awesome stuff at littlemshop.com. Go over there, and if you get anything, hit them up on like the order form, be like, yo, Gravy Gang, or throw something in mentioning that you heard about them on Pass the Gravy. I'll throw in, I sent them some Pass the Gravy stickers. They'll throw those in with your order, and it's a kind of little freebie for supporting the people that support us. At Little M Tweets on Twitter, and at Little M Shop on Instagram. If you get anything from them, tag us, tag them. We're at Pass the Gravy Pod. Let them know that you're supporting the people supporting us. Little M Air Fresheners, the best air fresheners in the whole wide world, the official air freshener sponsor of Pass the Gravy podcast. Gregory,
yes,
would you like to do some segments?
Yes, I would.
All right.
We're
going to do 3 little segments here pretty quick. And this is already we're already 2 hours in. This has been,
okay. Can you hear me fine?
Oh yeah, I can hear you great. We're like, this is otherworldly. This is going to be one of the greatest podcasts I think of all time. I think it's going to be one of the greatest podcasts of all time. So move over, Joe Rogan. But our next segment is the What Would Jesus Do segment. Now, a lot of times we had those bracelets growing up, and it said, What would Jesus do? But we never got the answers. Like, the bracelets didn't give us answers. So if you want to throw Jesus in a situation in today's time, hashtag PTGWWJD to at Pass the Gravy Pod. That's how we'll find them. I'm going to keep doing this until you guys keep submitting them. I don't care. We've lost listeners because people think this is blasphemous and it's not cool. And it was like, hey, man, I'm just joking around. So just you guys get it.
I think Jesus was a lot cooler than we give him credit for.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, he literally like gave himself up and like let himself get crucified. Probably pretty cool guy, I would assume. Pretty cool guy, I would assume. But hashtag PTGWWJD to at Pass the Gravy Pod. This is our What Would Jesus Do segment.
Jesus, what would Jesus do? Jesus, what would Jesus do? Put him in a situation in a matter of time. If you wrote this jingle, do you think he'd make it rhyme? So think about this crazy world in which we live today, and how would Jesus handle it in any given way?
Today's What Would Jesus Do comes from our buddy Tim Kostanek at the one called Tim on Twitter. And he says, what game show would Jesus go on?
Ooh.
Does that count as like reality shows? Because I'm a big reality. We have a Big Brother podcast, the Pass the Gravy Bro. We watch some reality TV here. But
when I think of a reality show, I think of
I don't think because he'd kick everybody's ass on Survivor. So I would feel like more like Wheel of Fortune-ish game shows.
He'd be good on Password.
I could see it being good on Password.
Or the No Whammies show. What was that called? The Joker's Wild.
I think so.
Does it just be funny to have Jesus going, no whammies, no whammies, no whammies, no whammies? And then it's like, oh, you got whammies, and the little red guys. Like, yeah. Did you ever watch that show?
I've seen it a few times. I know what you're talking about, but
Supermarket Sweep would also be good for Jesus.
I just imagine my two are Jeopardy and Wheel of Fortune, just because I like when they're like, so Craig, you work at a museum. And you're like, yeah. So Jesus, you're the son of God. I'm a carpenter as well. I like to build benches. I like to save lepers. I'm a big savior of lepers.
I'm a people person. I'm a people person.
I'm going to die for your sins eventually. If you wanna Okay,
Jeopardy's my pick then. Now, just you sold it. Jeopardy is my pick.
Then I'll go Jeopardy too. Wheel of Fortune would be, but I also want to see how Jesus reacts with the bankrupt. But I feel like Jesus is gonna be like Jesus. He's gonna be chill about it no matter what. But you know what? I'm just glad that somebody else gets the wealth.
Exactly.
And you're like, damn it, dude! I want you to have that cutthroat mentality. But Jeopardy, he's gonna buzz in super fast.
He's gonna be like, money's whatever. I don't care about money. I just want everybody to be happy.
Exactly.
I'm just happy to be here. Yeah. Okay. Jeopardy's my pick.
So Jeopardy, because then he can kind of flex some knowledge right there, and he definitely knows everything. I would put when they did that tournament of champs or whatever, not the tournament of champs, the goats or whatever it was, with James Holzhauer and then Ken Jennings, and I don't remember the third guy that nobody cared about. That they were like, we had to have a third, so we threw that random.
Wasn't one of them a molester, or am I thinking of another show?
I don't think the new one. No, I don't think those guys were. But if the third guy was that we didn't know the name of, then Jesus would easily replace him. So it'd be perfect.
Yes.
So yeah, Jesus would play Jeopardy, Tim. That's a good question.
I would just think it'd be funny to have Jesus have to answer questions about pop culture.
What is Slayer?
Yeah. What was
Lamb of God?
What was or something what was Keeping Up with the Kardashians? Jesus is like, oh, okay.
What is Fuck the Police? NWA song.
You like that? Yeah. I listened to hip hop a little bit growing up.
My dad wasn't the biggest fan, but you know what? I have my own taste.
Yeah. Me and my dad, we sort of, he
Mary Magdalene and I, we were the bad boy and girl class. And, we snuck away and listened to some tunes that, let's say, Dad wasn't happy about. This Elvis guy gyrating his hips. Oh, man, that was risque.
Jesus goes, I don't understand this new mumble rap stuff. I'm old school. I like Wu-Tang Clan. I like Ice Cube. I like NWA. You know how.
One of my favorite favorite lines from the Dave Chappelle special was, "Fuck everything from Staten Island except the Wu-Tang Clan." And I was like, oh, yeah, pretty solid.
That's how you get a Mark Twain award. That's why he has a Mark Twain award. That's for stuff like that. That's why he has a Mark Twain award. That's why he's the greatest mind of our time.
For sure, 100%. Our next segment we're going to do is the Not Cool segment. It's weird that I just did 2 ads. I'm not used to doing that. But our Not Cool segment is pretty much anything that you have that's happened to you, I guess, since you've been on the podcast last. Ideally, it's within the last couple of weeks or whatever. For us, we do it every week. Now I'm doing it twice a week, which is really limiting my thing. But just it could be you getting stabbed. It could also be you stubbing your toe as you get up to go pee in the middle of the night. Anything that makes you say that's not cool. So this is our Not Cool segment, and here's the intro for that one.
Not cool, man. Dude, that's not cool. Not cool. Not cool. Dude, that's not cool. Not cool, man. Dude, that's not cool. Not cool. Not cool. Dude, that's not cool. Not cool. Not cool.
I'll go first if you want to think about yours. My not cool is not vegan tacos, but veggie tacos, I guess. So, and this is kind of a very shitty, not cool, because occasionally people bring food up to the radio station, and I don't know who brought food up, but they delivered some tacos, and it's always a nice little surprise.
Yeah.
Oh, hey, there's tacos in the break room. And it was like, oh, hell yeah, cool. And usually they're marked like B, S, V, you know, like whatever, or just egg.
I've had free food up there. I love it. I've had free everything. It's great.
Yeah, so we went in and I was like, cool, let me go grab these, and they didn't have like marks on them or anything. So I was like, well, I'll just grab one. They're probably all good. I got the just only veggies taco, and it's like,
what was it?
Just like peppers and just no meat. But when you bite into, like, there wasn't eggs. Like everything else had eggs in it, so it had to be like the vegan taco, because I don't think if you're vegan you can't eat eggs, right?
No, that's an animal.
It comes from it. Yeah. But I was like, there's got to be meat in a taco, or a breakfast taco, at least eggs. And I was like, I don't know. It was free, so I couldn't really bitch about it. But it was like I already bit into it when I realized what it was. No potatoes. There were no potatoes. It was just like wet vegetables, and it was like, I don't know. I was just really that was not cool. I was like, fuck, like veggie tacos, vegetable tacos. Tacos need meat. Meat belongs in tacos, and I get it. Maybe you don't eat meat, but like just know that you're wrong, and you should.
Like wet, juicy meat. Wet, juicy meat.
Yeah.
Like need like barbacoa or like trompo or I like chicharron.
You throw some bacon on there. I'll shut up. I'm fine. Like but like just I don't know. It makes me really feel bad for people that choose to live their life that way, where it's like, hey man, I'm thought about vegan.
I've thought about being veggie before, and it's so daunting. Like I've gone off beef for a month at a time, and it was painful. So I can't imagine going full vegetarian. So.
I did it for Lent one year. I'm not super religious or anything, but like I was like, oh, let me see if I can give it up for 40 days. And I while through it, and I remember going to the rodeo and I ate like a big thing of meat and just like started like I felt sick.
Did you immediately start sweating?
I did exactly that. I did exactly that, and I threw up.
Because it's like your body is just like,
I was also really drunk when I did it, and so it was like I forgot completely that I was like, oh, I gave up meat, and then like everybody bought food at the carnival, and I was like, cool, let me get and then like 20 minutes later, my body's like, hey, what's up?
Any dietary thing you try to do for yourself, if you're also a big drinker, it's not going to happen. Because when you're drunk, you're going to eat anything.
Yeah, because they like it was just like, oh, sausage on a stick. I'm like, cool, give me some.
Yeah. But you're a vegan. I don't know. I don't care.
Whatever. It doesn't count if I don't remember it.
Let me see.
That was a bad joke. That was a bad joke, ladies. That was a bad joke.
Let me see. Not cool. Dang. I'm so full of weird gratitude that I'm like always like, okay, here's the thing that wasn't not cool. I dropped off 2 big crates of books and DVDs and Blu-rays, 2 big crates, like not small crates, 2 big crates to half-price books, and they only gave me $27 in return. That wasn't cool.
Yeah.
I don't like when that
happens. That's a really good one. That's a really
good one.
It's like GameStop for books.
I thought I was going to make a bunch of money and like, you know, and have a good time and like be able to like buy more stuff, but I only got $27. So that sucked.
That's a really good, not cool.
That was not cool.
That's
but
like,
I understand, but it was not
Plato's
cool.
Closet. Did you ever do Plato's Closet?
I was a big Buffalo Exchange person. Same concept.
Same thing. Yeah. Where like I remember in high school being like, I am gonna get so rich, guys. We're gonna be able to buy so much beer with this dumb fake ID I have. I'm gonna go donate all these old clothes. And they were like, this is out of fashion. This is out of season. We can give you $2 for this Abercrombie shirt, and we can give you $2 for this, and that's it. And I was like,
I used to be the king.
It's a whole bag of clothes.
I used to be the king of Buffalo Exchange because I used to dress a lot cooler, and I would also go to thrift stores and look for things that I knew other people would like. And so I was like badass at it. I would always have cool stuff. And then about 3 or 4 years ago, I went to go sell a bunch of clothes that I thought were cool. And the girl who was looking through all the clothes had to go call over an older manager because she didn't know who some of the bands were on the shirts. And that was when I was like, Oh, that was like the moment where you're like
I'm
you
old.
watch, you start hearing like Neil Young, Old Man, playing in your head, and you're like, oh wow, and then they're like, I don't know who that is, and then
You go home and tell kids to get off your lawn just
Yeah.
because you like feel like that. You grab some tapioca at the grocery store on the way home.
And that was when I realized I was like, yeah, I'm old. So that's a bonus, not cool.
That's a good not cool though. That's a good. They don't have to be like crazies or crazy not cools or anything like that. Just like yeah. It's a solid not cool where you like you have something in your head and you go there and it doesn't deliver and you're just like okay.
I mean, $20 at $27 at half price books that was a kick in the ding ding.
Did they give you cash or did they give you like store credit?
Cash.
Okay,
Yeah.
that's cool.
Yeah.
Because like I saw something about like during COVID, GameStop was like, yeah, we're struggling more than ever now. I was like, go fuck yourself. I can give you like $4.
Oh yeah, I remember there was a place before GameStop called Funko Land. You remember Funko Land?
No.
Funko Land was like the first sort of GameStop. It may have actually been the same company and they changed the name. But Funko Land, I remember thinking I was going to be rich going up there with like a bunch of my like Super Nintendo games and getting like $12. And going, like,
it's a brand new game.
Yeah, and they'd be like, well, there's 17 of you guys sold that here today, so nobody wants to buy it. And so that was GameStop's going out of business, right?
I think it was because I was like recent because I remember seeing it being like, fuck you.
Because when the PS5
Hollywood Video and GameStop were like in bed together because remember every Hollywood Video had a GameStop next like tied into the store.
There was
because you'd be like, I'm gonna go sell my games and then rent other games with the money that I got.
I think it's going out of business, but then the same week that I found out the GameStop was going out of business is when I found out that the PS5 there's going to be two different versions. Like there's going to be a version where you need the disc and a version where you don't use the disc.
Mm-hmm.
So eventually, like physical games are going to be.
I don't even buy physical games anymore.
That's what I was
I have
gonna say,
Xbox. I just download it, man.
Yeah. So that's just the thing. That's how it goes. That's wild.
But yeah, it is pretty nuts. It is pretty tight though. Like it's just awesome being like, oh, I want to play. Like we were trying to do Twitch for a little bit during the beginning of the pandemic. I was like, I see a lot of people on that. That seems hot right now. And I was like, but like I play Grand Theft Auto, so Grand Theft Auto is kind of fun. But like there's certain things you do on Grand Theft Auto. I'm like, I don't really feel like anybody wants to watch me just do the same thing over and over. Like like it's like nobody wants to watch me just do random missions that doesn't have any effect on them. Like I need to have a story.
Still beat up hookers on there.
Yeah, you definitely can. You can always beat up hookers on Grand Theft Auto. That's how you get your money back. But
well, at least that's still out there in these.
Yeah. There's one day we had to teach our kids these things. But my friend Pat like plays. I can't do like Call of Duty. He plays Call of Duty, and so like my co-hosts will do that. And then we were like, we just gotta figure out something that everybody will watch. And NBA Jam was what we figured out.
Yeah.
But like NBA Jam was like $12 or $20 or whatever it was.
Like the original NBA Jam?
It was like actually like an updated one, but like it was like Kevin Martin and Courtney Lee are like the Rockets. So like whenever they were on the Rockets, that was when they made it.
Oh, so it's not like you can't get like Harden or anybody like new?
No. I think maybe you can unlock them on OKC. I have it. I don't know, but it was fun though. But it was cool just fucking around on like I was Amari Stoudemire and Carmelo from the Knicks. Like that's a solid 1-2 punch on NBA Jam.
I played the show MLB The Show for 2 years or so, and it was always fun just going there. I'd set it down to like the easiest level and just have the Astros tee off on a team that I hated. Just
so the Yankees.
It'd be like the Yankees, like even Verlander, even like everybody would hit a home run no matter what. Like it was a cathartic game.
That was like Blitz for baseball, basically.
Yeah. So that's why I love playing that one.
That's pretty tough.
You gotta go outside. Okay.
Do you need to take him
out?
I
gotta go. He's gotta go outside.
Okay. We were gonna do. Can you run through some questions, or do you need to?
Yeah.
All right.
If he pees on me, it's your fault. So.
Okay, deal. I can take that. All right. This is our final segment we do every week. It's the answers segment. There's no such thing. I was told one time in a class in 4th grade. So there's no such thing as a stupid question. I raised my hand, immediately asked a question, got laughed at, and I vowed that then when I got put in charge of anything, I would make sure that I didn't laugh at people's stupid questions. And I made up the answer segment where I was like, please just help me fill an hour, send me questions. So if you have a high thought, anything you think of, hit me up at Pass Grade Pod, hashtag PTG Answers. I'm at Alex J. Middleton. Craig is Craig Hlavaty on Twitter and IG, HLAVATY on Twitter, Craig Hlavaty. And hashtag PTG Answers on Twitter at Pass Grade Pod. And then you can email them if you don't have a Twitter, answers@passthegradepod.com. This is the Answers segment.
Well, if you just answer the question, why don't you just answer the question? Be honest, no big deal. Yeah, answer the question.
Don't change the subject, just answer the fucking question. It's like, what was the answer?
Any questions?
All right, our first Answers question this episode comes from Brett Cernan. He emailed in and said, if moles were huge, would they fuck with us or just go on digging?
I think we would probably eat them. Like,
we would hunt them.
Yeah, they would become like a food source.
Because like a mole would just mind its own business, I feel like.
Well, no, moles kind of look like they're cute, right?
They're like blind groundhogs, aren't they?
Yeah, no, I think we would probably find a way just to keep them. They would become pets.
Somebody would have a mole as a pet.
Yeah. Like if they were bigger, like much bigger.
Yeah.
Like,
I don't think they'd fuck with us, though. I don't think they would start like becoming a predator.
Like it would be like you'd go to a park and they'd be like, oh, there's a family of moles over there.
Yeah, exactly.
I don't think we would kill them. I think they would be.
I think people would start killing the moles. I think we would be the predator. I don't think moles would start fucking with us.
I think they'd be like squirrels are now.
But like bigger squirrels, yeah.
Yeah, like it wouldn't be a problem.
Like, God damn it, you moles.
Well, because they're cute, so I don't think people would like. Isn't that basically what the mole? Wasn't that a mole in Caddyshack?
That was a gopher.
Oh, see, I get those.
Is a gopher the same thing as a mole?
I mean, I don't think that we would be wrong in assuming that. I mean, unless there's like a serious, but something like a gopher, I wouldn't want to eat. Like, I would like, you want to leave them be, I guess. I don't know. I would not want to kill them.
All right, gopher, moles. I didn't look up anything, but it looks like they could be the same thing based on the facts of all the searches that came up with the same name. So we're going to say yes, they are the same thing.
So I would not. Yeah, I think we would coexist peacefully with them.
Yeah, I think we'd coexist. Yeah, for sure. They wouldn't fuck with us. Our next question comes from Danielle Weston at Danny_Weston on Twitter. She says, is Carhartt redneck Gucci?
Ooh. No, because Carhartt now is like a hipster thing. Like they sell Carhartt.
I would say like belt buckles are like redneck Gucci.
Redneck Gucci to me would probably be like
trucks.
No. Like Under Armour.
No, Under Armour, because like Under Armour can go like athlete, CrossFit guy too. I think it would maybe be
what's that
Salt Life stuff.
Yeah. Salt Life or the tactical gear, like the 5.1 thing or whatever, the shirts that say like,
Punisher shirts.
Yeah, that's what it would be. Yeah.
That's redneck Gucci.
That would be redneck Gucci to me. I would say like back in the day, it would have been things like Rocky jeans or stuff like that. But now I think rednecks now are a lot more relaxed and more Magellan, maybe Columbia.
Yeah, it'd be the fishing shirts.
Yeah,
because it's expensive.
Yeah,
it's kind of a status symbol a little bit. I got Magellan and Columbia shit all day.
I think Magellan is cheaper than Columbia because Magellan is the Academy brand, and Columbia is the more. Yeah.
So Columbia then would be, like Columbia fishing shirts and Salt Life shirts would be the redneck Gucci. I would say that's a good question.
And Crocs.
Crocs are making a comeback though, but Crocs are kind of like the everyman thing.
I don't wear
Crocs, but I appreciate the people that are cool to do it.
I wear those slip-on ones that look like house slippers. Like they're low.
Yeah.
They're like old man shoes. I don't
They
wear
still have the holes in the top of it.
I don't wear those. I wear the ones where it's like they look like little, like they look like Vans almost, like slip-on Vans. Those kind.
Okay, I can see that. All right, we're almost done. Josh Tree Caudle at Joshua Tree 713 says, who wins in a cage match between Bruce Lee, The Rock, and Chuck Norris?
What are we talking? Their prime?
I guess I would assume. Let's assume they're all in their prime. Let's assume they're all in their prime.
Okay.
Because I would say it's gotta like I like The Rock. We already talked about how we like The Rock, but I feel like if it's actual hand-to-hand combat, like, he's gonna be able to get a knockout on one of them. But like, I don't know why I'm just leading Chuck Norris. I'm just like, is it because of every meme I've ever seen in my entire life? I know Bruce Lee is a scary motherfucker that can fuck you up, but like, I feel like I would be more scared of Chuck Norris than anybody else in that.
There's a Texas bias in that for Chuck Norris.
Okay, fair.
Bruce Lee taught Chuck Norris.
Did he? Okay, then Bruce Lee. Bruce Lee. They were buddies.
Bruce Lee is a lot more agile and more mental. The Rock would be more. The Rock would be more brute force. Like.
So Bruce could get away from The Rock, I feel like. But if Bruce can figure out how to manipulate The Rock into whatever he wants him to do, then yeah. And I think so if Bruce is already the mentor to Chuck, then yeah, I think then Bruce Lee wins.
And then, because The Rock, if we were casting a remake of Over the Top, the arm wrestling movie, The Rock would obviously win an arm wrestling contest. But if we're talking like an all-out street brawl, I think it would be Bruce Lee defeating both of them.
Yeah, I think we're in agreement on that.
Because Bruce Lee was fast, and I know a lot of that.
Bruce Lee, then Chuck Norris, then The Rock. The Rock loses no matter what.
Yeah.
Chuck Norris could probably beat The Rock just because he's Chuck Norris, and then I think Bruce Lee, now that he
The Rock doesn't look. The Rock does not look agile.
Or does he have the stamina?
Yeah.
He's a big guy.
Because guys that lift normally don't do a lot of cardio.
Right.
Like, The Rock couldn't run, I don't know. Have him on the show and ask him, but he couldn't. I don't think he could
do that. I'm down.
I don't think he could run 20 miles.
I bet The Rock could run 20 miles, but yeah, he'd probably be laboring.
But I think that Bruce
could definitely run.
Has the muscle.
It would go Bruce, then Chuck, then Rock for me.
The Rock, especially like late 90s, early 2000s Rock, when he was young and he was fighting Stone Cold every week.
All the time, yeah.
Yeah. Not like The Rock. Well, The Rock now has like old man strength too.
Fuck, you're right. I still just don't see him. He could get you on a punch, but like unless he lands you on like that perfect punch, I think Bruce Lee comes away. Like you said, because he shot Chuck.
Bruce Lee, though, a lot of his was mental because he knew 5 steps ahead of everybody.
And that's what you need to know. He's like, yeah.
I
would go. So Bruce Lee.
Yeah.
And then we got Brandon Whitehead at Brando Whitehead on Twitter says, if you could be any character from Scooby-Doo, who would you be and why? I would obviously be Shaggy because he gets to hang out with the dog the most and he smokes a lot of pot. And it just seems like he has a good time. And instead of freaking out like everybody else is freaking out, he's just like, yo, Scoobs! Zoinks!
Velma.
You be Velma?
Yeah.
Why would you be Velma?
Because she's like one of those like under the radar hotties.
Yeah. Oh yeah, definitely. I agree with that.
And she's smart, obviously.
She's the total package.
She's sort of like short like me. So like, yeah, if I was a woman, I would probably be Velma anyway.
Okay, so that's perfect. So Velma and Shaggy would be the answer. That was a really good question. It just threw me off. It was like Scooby-Doo. I was like, I haven't watched Scooby-Doo in forever. All right, we got one last question. This is it. All right, it's from Cassie J, the Squatch God. We have no idea why she's the Squatch God, but she emailed us in and said, if you only have a knife, if you only have a knife, is a warning poke the equivalent of a warning shot, or did I just straight up stab a dude?
You stab somebody.
You can't just sort of.
You can't
poke.
unstab. I mean, not that you can unshoot. You cannot.
A warning shot doesn't make contact. There's no warning poke. I guess would a warning poke like in your direction if I was like, "Hey, Craig, watch out!"
No,
but I didn't make contact. Is that a warning poke?
A warning. Well, she said poke, so I mean, poke would be.
You have to poke them physically,
and you would draw blood.
So yeah, you straight up stabbed a dude.
Yeah. So
I love that question.
And at that point, if you already, you might as well just
figure it. Just OJ.
Keep
go
going.
OJ.
Or keep going.
Alleged OJ.
Like it'd be like, like a finger. You might as well just go all the way through and dig around.
Because that person's not gonna be happy with you.
But a warning shot is just like bang bang, go away. Yeah, because like a warning shot would definitely, it's demonstrative. But if I say, hey,
it's loud.
You better get away, and you get because to me it depends on the knife, but like a poke on a knife. Like a warning poke would easily be at least half an inch, right?
It's a stab. Or
at least a slash. That's even worse.
Right. So, a warning shot is more like, oh, guys are getting into something and you don't hear it. You're just like, oh shit, let's snap us into reality. Warning poke, that's a stab.
Well, warning poke with a machete would be basically
true.
That's if you poke somebody with. Yeah, how you don't really machete's not a stabbing thing. It's more of a. But no, you have stabbed him. You have stabbed him.
Yeah, I would say you straight up stabbed the dude.
And you're looking at some sort of definitely a retaliation.
Just run. I hope you're fast.
Or and don't leave the knife there.
Yeah, and clean the knife off, or get your buddy to go get the Kardashian's husband or Kardashian dad to go and drop it off at the LAX airport, throw it in a dumpster.
Have an alibi.
Right. Go to Chicago, fly to Chicago immediately. When they call you, be like, oh, I just panicked and I thought I had to go to Chicago.
You need to get OJ on this show.
I have tried. We actually had James Orenthal Simpson or James Origel James Simpson. We had him on, but we couldn't get OJ on. I've tweeted him. He won't block. He's not blocked me. He does block a lot of people though. So
imagine the garbage that he sees every day. Not that it's not well deserved, but
every take a stab at it joke that you could ever see ever.
But
you're killing it, quote unquote.
He could tweet "Oh, I had a really good time at Burger King today," and people would be like, "Murderer, death, autopsy photos, horrible."
You know who did it? Nicole.
Yeah, he couldn't. Yeah, I want to know what that's like to be. I mean, well, I don't want to know what it's like to be a murderer, but you got to
alleged murderer. Alleged. He was acquitted. People forget he was acquitted. People forget that. I have an O.J. Simpson poster right here.
I think on his deathbed he'll admit it, right?
Oh, he's got to. He wrote a book about how he did it, and then said which is brilliant. But yeah, Craig Hlavaty, guys. Craig Hlavaty. This was the fucking most out of this world podcast. This was so much fun, dude. We're gonna do a JFK conspiracy one later on this year for sure. At Craig Hlavaty, HLAVATY on Twitter and Instagram. Black Coffee Radio, KPRC. What time is it on? When can we listen?
We are on. It changes back and forth. You can find us on the podcast.
Listen to the podcast.
Usually on KPRC 950 on Saturday nights. Justin's gonna kill me. I think we're on midnight now.
Nighttime. On at nighttime.
Yeah, but podcast all the time. You look us up, it says Black Coffee Radio, and it's just white letters on a black background. And it's me and Justin King.
It's a great show. Great show. Big fan of it. We're going to do a Gravy Gang field trip to the Museum of Natural Science.
Yes.
When this is all cleared up, go check out the museum. Wear that fucking mask. Be cool. I love you guys. Love you, Craig. And peace out, Cub Scout, and pass the gravy, ya bitches.
I see no changes, all I see is racist faces, misplaced the hate and disgrace the races, yeah. I wonder what it takes to make this one better place and to erase the wastage, yeah. Take the evil out of people that be acting right.